Good afternoon and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Welcome to Starbase Weekly, the RGV aerial deep dive into images he captured from the ground and air in Boca Chica, Texas. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. Channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Starbase Weekly. This is episode 34 and my name is Mauricio, and we have Indian Star here.
Hey guys, it's Grandpa Joe, everybody's favorite space grandpa. And with that, I'll hand it right on over to our main man, Zach Golden.
Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us today. And we actually have one more guest today that we want to introduce. We had Max Q with us last week, and we have another awesome guest with us today. And hopefully most of you guys know him in the chat at least. So Jax, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be here. I'm used to working in the back channels, but getting on comms today. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, it's always nice because we always have occasional times where there's so much stuff moving around at Starbase that it's kind of hard to keep track of everything. So it's really nice to have a whole team that's able to help us with this stuff. So we definitely appreciate when they're able to be on here with us, and especially Jax being part of the Ring Watchers team. It's awesome to have somebody who can fill in some gaps, especially when it comes to the Starship knowledge, because as most of you guys know, I'm not as knowledgeable at Starship stuff. So I'm more of a GSE guy, apparently. That's what I got labeled as on Twitter the other day. Like, yeah, you're just a GSE guy.
That's the worst thing you could ever be called.
Well, actually, I think it was Ryan Hansen Space called me that. Said, yeah, you're just a GSE guy. You're probably not a part of this combo. I was like, oh, sorry, sir. Yeah, so anyways, with that being said, it's great to have you here, Jax. And thank you, everybody, for being here on this awesome Saturday. Hopefully the weather's good where you guys are at. It's been cloudy here in Chicago for the last week and a half, so it's actually pretty nice. So hopefully it's awesome where you guys are as well, and hopefully you guys have been able to catch all of the exciting stuff from this week. There is a lot to cover. So, we have lots of progress over at the build site. I believe SpaceX is in the middle of a surge right now currently. And I don't know, do you guys feel like you've seen signs of that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, parking lot's pretty full, people all over the place, a lot of exciting things happening. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue against that right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. We see people all the time coming in and out. We see crazy things happening. We see like sparks in the middle of the night. There's lots happening.
Yeah, I would say the build site actually has been super busy this week. There's been a lot of news as far as just finally getting. I feel like we're getting caught up on starships because it seems like there's a ton of boosters. Maybe Jax will disagree, but I personally feel like there hasn't been as much progress on starships as much as there has boosters. I mean, we only have one fully stacked. Well, actually, yeah, we only have one fully stacked starship right now, right? So there's only 24, and then 25 is not even stacked yet. So meanwhile, you have 1.5 boosters sitting, or actually 2.5 boosters sitting inside of the Mega Bay currently. Oh, actually, we should probably show that image as well too, or the video from Elon. If you guys haven't seen it, we'll probably grab that because it's really awesome getting a view inside of there. It's actually funny because we kind of joke often about Elon posting stuff so that we're able to actually see inside of there. So it's nice to see that he actually went and did that. Being able to see inside of the Mega Bay is a rare treat, especially from the ground. So definitely appreciate every time they are able to show us that kind of stuff.
So while you're pulling that up, I'll just put in my opinion here that starships, in a lot of ways, are a bit more of a solved problem, and the booster is what they're focusing on because that is the problem they haven't 100% solved. I'm sure they're fairly confident they're close, but they have more concerns about the booster, which is why they're focusing on it, and they're also confident that they're capable of producing a lot of starships rapidly as soon as they want to.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty awesome just the rate that they're able to move at right now, especially considering that they have a dual operation going on down in Florida. So it's pretty crazy watching all of this stuff. And sorry, I'm still looking for that tweet from Elon. There we go. Thank you, Rohan. So let me go ahead and swap over to that and show you guys this image really quick, or this video. Sorry.
Nice.
We got some footage from Elon showing the inside of the bay. This is actually, I'm not playing the audio right now, but it was oddly quiet in here. Last time, usually when we see videos inside of here, I feel like they are really loud. You got lots of beeping going on. But let me grab this little scroll button so that we can kind of get a little more control of this because it's really fast. So what I want to show is that, okay, I guess it's going to do its own thing. That's really tough to grab. So we have what only looks like one booster in here, but if you guys, okay, this really sucks not being able to zoom through this and pause it right here. Here we go. Wow.
Quest denied. Elon's really that's why he bought Twitter, just to keep you out of Mega Bay.
Man, that worked a lot better when I did it yesterday, trying to scroll through this and just move back and forth to try and see. But the interesting part of this image, number one, is that you can really only see one booster at first if you're just not really glancing around. But we're able to locate. Is that B9 on the left side?
Yeah, it sure is. Booster 9's methane tank is currently fully stacked, 13 rings tall. So that's it over on I believe it's on the welding turntable right now.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting seeing it from this view because it really gives you like a little more respect for how large this building is. The fact that you could be standing in the entrance like this and to some degree only see one of the boosters. If you were to back up a little bit, you might not be able to see it at all. And booster 8 is directly behind this, we think. It's not. Is it possible it's in the front left corner? Or the front right corner, sorry.
I believe when booster 7 rolled in, 8 was pushed towards the back wall in the middle, and we didn't see it move, so I think it's actually just behind it.
Wow.
And that was one of my thoughts, was the construction of Mega Bay allowed them to be much more versatile in their equipment handling and moving of the boosters around. It's much less of an orchestration than they have to take up in High Bay or Mid Bay.
You know, the crazy part about this is you can't even see the other transport stand through here. It's really hard. Like if we're looking through just underneath the skirt, you can't, or not the skirt, sorry, the transport stand. You really can't see the actual the second transport stand for Booster 8. So this is pretty interesting. It's also
Maybe it
nice,
is.
actually. Go ahead.
Maybe it is hauled off to the right. And I was just noticing how much daylight we can see through the engine shrouds that aren't on there.
Yeah, I guess part of the thing is that with these engines hanging down like this, everything that we maybe would be able to see for Booster 8 is blocked by these engines. So that is a possibility. But yeah, really awesome to see this. And I think Elon's actually out there pretty much every day right now. So I feel like we might have a lot of interesting footage coming up over the next few weeks. So keep it up, Elon. We appreciate it. But with that, let's go ahead and get on with the show. Sorry, let me go ahead and switch back. So, as always, and we like to start over at the Massey's site. Keep the most boring stuff at the beginning. But a lot of people in the crowd like to see this place, so we're gonna check it out just really quickly. And actually, Mauricio, it looks like you did a different kind of pass over here this time, right? You're able to get a lot closer.
Yeah, so we flew on the south side of Massey's this time around, and we got a better view, better lighting conditions. I think this is by far the best day to photograph Massey's compared to other days. But yeah, there's not much, I guess, going on. Just a lot of dirt expansion, that concrete. We're gonna throw some concrete there, and if you scroll to the top.
Yeah, sorry, up here next to the.
So
that would mean they're about to obviously expand the amount of stuff they're able to store here. And if you guys look, you can also see that they're preparing this as well, right? So they'll probably just keep moving over as they have. Man, this is looking more and more like the area that's left over is starting to remind me of the space that they built the launch tower sections in. It's like almost the perfect size, what's left over. Not starting any rumors, just saying there's some interesting things down here which we haven't been able to see in other flyovers, I would say. That kind of caught my eye today or like just a few seconds ago, actually. I just noticed it. So obviously, as we mentioned, this is like a really big storage area. So most of the stuff really isn't that exciting. However, we do have those two launch mount clamps that used to be at the build site are now over here. So those are the ones that Mauricio took pictures of. Wow, that was like 2 or 3 months ago at this point. But yeah, we've seen those move over here. And the other interesting thing that I've noticed move into this area, and I'm gonna scroll over there, is a lot of random, really long boxes. And these are all brand new equipment. So a lot of times, things that end up inside, like the Starfactory, for example, like any type of not the gantry cranes bridge cranes that they're delivering, but all the auxiliary equipment a lot of times shows up in boxes like this, and so do parts of the Chopsticks. So it's interesting that there's this many of whatever it is over here. It's obviously kind of new, so I think all of this is for a project that's about to get started. Which will be interesting to see what that's for. I mean, we are expecting the fabrication tent for tent 1 to get taken down, tent 1 and tent 2, most likely at some point. So it'll be interesting once they start doing that. And then I think maybe potentially some of this material is for whatever's going there. But we also have another project at Sanchez that's getting started. So we'll take a look at that as well, too. And yeah, I mean, it's really open-ended where this could end up. But one of the weird things that I've noticed are these curved pipe sections, because these are very, very similar to the ones that were in the launch mount. And they almost look brand new. So this is one of those, the start of me looking. This is me looking for signs that SpaceX is. Yeah, this is one thing that one has to consider, is that we have no idea if they're working with Army Corps engineers right now to satisfy the requirements to whatever they needed in order to build that second launch site here, right? So we only got news of it once the Army Corps of Engineers said that, hey, SpaceX hasn't satisfied these requirements, so we're basically putting on hold, right? But now that the biggest hurdle, which was getting the PEA approved, now that that's out of the way, who knows? They might be working on that in the background. So every week, pretty much from here on, I'm going to be looking for signs of them to begin start the second construction of another launch mount here, which would be absolutely amazing. I would, if we return to those times here, that would be awesome to see the second version of that, like what they're doing at Starbase Kennedy, to see them do that same process here, because it's definitely evolved a lot since then. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah.
Could some of that stuff be related to Pad C, the suborbital pad that they're?
Oh snap! Good point. Yeah. Well, it looks like there's I'm guessing 10 of these here, which would make sense. That would be a 10-sided for the launch mount, but yeah, if these ones are like, these look like gas pipes. That is a possibility, and we're going to touch on that as well in a few minutes. As far as the possibility of suborbital C starting soon, we have some more progress in that area, but very, very good question. Actually, I didn't even really consider that.
And Zach, my other theory was they have the most people with the most experience here for building the original orbital launch mount. Maybe they might construct the one for Kennedy here and then ship it by barge out to Canaveral.
But they didn't make the OLM here. They didn't make it in Boca. They put it together in Boca.
Right. They assembled the parts in Boca and then did all the finishing and fine tuning work in Boca. So that's why I would think that
in Florida.
Because all the cool people are here in Boca right now.
I feel like most of their staff for that project is actually in at the Kennedy Space Center now. It would only really make sense that I think you're going to have a few engineers left here, especially as it relates to the launch mount, since there's still changes going on with that. And the launch tower seems pretty much wrapped up. But I don't know. That's a tough one. I feel like most of their staff that's related to facility construction is down there. And man, I wish this kettle boiler would just leave here.
Right.
It's still sitting there.
I kind of hope you're right. And I am thinking that they will take the time to make the orbital launch mount in a controlled environment where they can have air conditioning, because, man, that's a lot of work to do outside.
Agreed. Whose flaps are these?
Mine, sorry, I left them.
See if I can get better. Is
Well,
this
those
Essence?
Yeah, our
MK1?
favorite starship. No, that's SN16, our favorite starship that's going to be doing a hypersonic flight. I'm going to trust Elon on this
flaps?
one.
I guess you wouldn't need them for that, right? You're just a bullet.
Yeah. But they moved those there just under 2 weeks ago. I guess just moving the garbage out of the production site.
It's not garbage, my friend. They're
I was
artifacts.
about to say, I don't know if SN16 appreciates being called garbage.
Well,
That's because she's
That's
not.
what it is.
No.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. I think a lot of people were hoping those were going to go to the airport or something, but it doesn't appear so. But I guess maybe we can move away from the Massey site. Always like to just start here, give people a chance to show up. I know a lot of you guys are always late getting that morning coffee in, so we like to start off with the least exciting stuff first. So with that being said, let's go ahead and swap over to the Sanchez site.
Before you get to Sanchez, can I shout out some people? We actually have a donation train going on, or had, and it was started off by Sharpie, who donated $10 and says, "Worth my 3 hours, thank you." 55 Chevy guy Steve came in next with another $10 saying, "Matching Sharpie, anyone else?" Jacqueline came in with €10 with "I'll hop on." Rocket Profit with another $10. "I'll match that, anyone else?" Jake Winlow came in with $10. "I'm in." Jim Cavett, "I'm in." $10. Peanut came in, $10. Choo choo. Yazada, $10. This show is the highlight of his Saturdays. And Colleen Gold, who thinks he's very funny with $4.80 pounds, saying, "Indian Star, if this show is bad, I'll want a refund." And I told him, just consider it live. Well, because it's live, just consider it like you're backstage. So you're welcome.
Yeah, I feel like I just got a lot of pressure going there now.
I know, now we have to perform.
Yeah.
Speaking of backstage, if you want to join us in Discord, that is a Patreon member perk. So consider joining Patreon and join us in Discord for both on air and afterwards open discussion.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate all of the donations. I want to see if I could show you guys this without revealing too much info, but I don't know how I'm going to do this. I got it. So this is where your friend Golden Boy is at right now. Okay, I guess that's not going to... There we go. We got 864 gigabytes on this computer and 65 left. I was down to like 18 before the show started when I downloaded all the ground pics, so I had to delete a bunch of stuff. But yeah, we're all at the point right now where we're gonna have to upgrade storage because these pictures are really large. Like just the ground pictures alone this week was like 12 gigabytes. So yeah, that being said, we definitely appreciate all of the donations because as we try to continue to increase the quality of the actual show itself, and the images that we're showing, it also requires a lot more storage. So definitely appreciate you guys, and I don't know, maybe some of you guys who download these pictures every week are experiencing that as well. But yeah, like I said, we really appreciate it, and thank you guys for donating because it helps us to keep doing this every single week.
Hey GB, I know a girl who can help you with that storage issue.
I wish I had a funny response for that, but I couldn't think of one fast enough.
I'll go with I just stumped GB.
Yeah, I was gonna say Martha Stewart, but I don't think that's what she does. So at the Sanchez site now, it looks like we have a lot more concrete than last week. This is getting interesting here. There's this you guys see this huge driveway, the way that it turns in like this? I can only really think of one reason why you would do that. And that's got to be moving SPMTs in and out of here, right? So
Rocket Garden storage?
I don't know, man. Like
those SPMTs can really take a corner much better than you would expect. So, I mean, you need a little bit of a radius there. I don't know. Maybe you're right.
Well, I mean, this is the other corner that they have to hit. I think they move this fence obviously when they get here, but like the radius of that corner, I don't know, it looks awfully similar to me.
It does. Here, wait, go back up and back down again. Yeah, it's the same radius. I think you might be right.
Yikes, that's interesting. That'd be really cool, actually. I mean, they have so many boosters right now. We have all these starships that are in the process of being constructed as well, too. So at some point, they're going to need more storage. I mean, there is an option possible. I don't know. This lot right here is probably not available, but obviously that would probably be the most ideal spot for them because it's very close to the mega bay. But obviously, they're not doing anything to prepare that right now, but they most definitely are over here. So this dirt pile just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I wonder if we have a ground shot of that this week too. I don't know why we're going to be looking at dirt, but it's interesting to me just to like see the change to actually know whether or not they are in fact adding more and more and more, or if it's just appears that way from the aerial view. And I do not see a ground photo, so
it's like a kid eating their dinner. They're just moving the peas around on the plate so it looks like there's more or less.
Yeah, there's piles of dirt pretty much everywhere around Starbase right now. So yeah, this is we say this every single week that we got to keep an eye on it, and I guess that's what we'll say this week as well too. But
hey, if anybody's interested in this sort of stuff, civil engineering is a great school of engineering to go into. You get to learn all about dirt, concrete, substrate, all the way up to how to build roads, bridges.
Yeah, so this area right here, this is reminding me of something else that we're going to look at later, but it looks like they've dug out a trench here to, I don't think this was here before, but to connect to the actual well on this side. Still have no idea what's going on in this spot, but it just really seems like a typical oil and gas facility, like post-processing or pre-processing for downhole operations when you're for the injection well, but nothing really too exciting.
So just to the bottom right of that, the orange spools. I don't know how long those have been there, but we use those a lot in the IT industry for running fiber. And I think we've talked about them on stream before. Any idea what those are for?
I don't know actually. So they do have. Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not really sure. They've ran. I think when they added the was a 3-phase power for coming from Brownsville. I actually am not sure if they've finished that yet, but I haven't seen them working on it in a while. And I also don't think that that's what that is used for, but I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah, I'm almost certain that that color orange and that particular diameter is specifically for low voltage communications conduit. Though I mean, I don't know how Texas runs it. Though they may use a different standard, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, this site really confuses me. I wish they would just put a sign up already so we know what it is.
Yeah, we need to get Procky down there and talk to SpaceX and just get them to help him label everything.
I would have to agree with that one. And sorry guys, I'm looking for a better view of the lower part of Sanchez without having to scroll around too much. So we always got to check in on this area. They're making super slow. I just remembered. So super slow progress on this booster transport stand. And I think Mauricio actually has some good images of this one from the ground. So let's go ahead and take a look at that once I can find it. This was one of the more interesting pictures for odd reason this week.
Shout out to Mauricio for taking both air and ground photos, because man, I love the fact that we can switch from an overhead aerial view down to ground level and get some great detail on both. And huge shout out. Look at the detail from the new camera. This is really great.
I think there was a second picture that was showing the entire thing. Wow, these are really spread out. Okay, so so this is the transport stand for a booster, and you guys can see that they're still putting on the actual plates for these are where the clamps actually slide in. You can see they have these what are these called? Frictionless plates for sliding the clamps through. You can see it really better, a little better right there. So this is how they make the clamps slide in and out really smoothly. And these things down here are what they use to actually set the height. So they're, I don't know what you want to call them. It's almost like the equivalent of a shim plate. There's a better word for this, like an offset. But
is that like a Teflon offset shim?
Yeah. And right now it looks like this water bottle down here maybe being used as an offset shim.
I think that's holding up the entire transport stand, if I'm not mistaken.
See, the thing is, I think there's actually more of these around here.
Yeah, there's a bottle to the left that's holding up a little bit more pressure on that.
It's amazing. Wow. SpaceX is so innovative.
Somebody get that guy some help.
Oh no, it's failing laterally.
It looks like it's still got water in it as well. Oh man, just one of those random details that you wouldn't really notice if you weren't like looking super close on these things. But yeah, we got it seems like there hasn't been as much progress on this transport stand as we would see if typically. So this, in my opinion, is actually probably the slowest that they've constructed one. Because typically you have guys working on this like 24/7 as they're trying to get it ready in time for stacking the booster that's waiting on it. But right now they already have another transport stand for Booster 9, so they're not really waiting on one. And Booster 9, and maybe Jackson, correct me, I feel like there hasn't been much progress over the last few weeks.
Yeah, for the methane tank they've stacked that, but the Lux tank, that's they haven't started stacking that yet.
Yeah, and I think we may even be able to just go and switch over to the area. I'm looking through here just to make sure there's not anything super special that we're missing, but then we can go ahead and hop in to talk about our booster and Starship situation. But yeah, I think Sanchez is pretty boring this week. Just a last quick check. And sorry, guys, I'm trying not to scroll through here too quickly, but right, I think we're good to go.
Yes, sir.
So at the wide bay, even though I want to talk about boosters, I think we're gonna start at the wide bay first. There's a lot going on over here. You guys can see that there is now so much scaffolding that you really can't even see inside the building anymore. So we definitely need some ground images in order to actually be able to see that. And last week we touched on the fact that they've been adding. Oh, well, you can't really see them here. I feel like I messed up the order of all these pictures.
It's all over now.
Yeah, it is. I'm actually gonna possibly reorganize these if I can.
Do you want to answer a couple of questions, maybe, or have GB?
We're fine. I found what I was looking for. So you guys can see they added these in the front, which kind of started last week. We touched on this before, and you really can't. It's on this side. It's not as bad as far as all the scaffolding, but on the back side, you can barely see through it. I'm gonna get us onto the back side.
It's like
you guys saw those
forest of scaffolding back there.
Yeah, it's insane. I think we're still on the front side with those images. Sorry, guys. There was a lot happening this week at Starbase. Mauricio was all over the place because there was a booster being unstacked. But typically he likes to go from one side of the facility to the other, but this time is a little different. And this is actually a really cool shot right here. Looking at it at the Mega Bay from the front, you still can't see Booster 8 behind here.
Yeah, that's 8 right there.
Oh yeah. Okay, because Booster 7 was still at the launch site.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's it. I like even looked at it and didn't see the grid fins and still. Yeah, that's interesting. You know what? Does this look like there's actually slits in the back of this wall now? Like, so light's getting through, or is that just a? Okay, that's just the light. Sorry. Anyways, so getting back up to the top, like I said, they have those panels going all across the front, so we probably will start seeing them put more actual exterior paneling on there soon. And I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if the windows are going to come as soon as we're expecting them to. But right now, there really hasn't been much progress with that. It doesn't seem like they're really in a rush. This is like a side project at this point. But I feel like there's another major project possibly that might be starting in the wide bay soon. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of material out in front. So let me get us to a better angle. This might not even be the best one to see it. I think it is. So we have a ton of steel sitting outside of here, which is very interesting. This looks like it's all made for the wide bay. So you have, oh yeah, these are more platforms actually. I have not noticed those before. So we have these platforms that are up to the left up here, 4 of them, which still have not gone inside of the bay yet. These are really interesting, the way that all of this stuff is coming together. I noticed they have these 2 extra beams on each one. So I'm guessing those are, maybe if I had to guess, probably related to like holding a frame for holding a welding robot. So right now they don't have anything where for a robot to sit on, which is what I'm assuming these are made for in the first place. So it's interesting to see all of those on here because I initially thought that these were pieces for a whole nother structure, but it looks like they're actually paired up with these. But they have all of these walkways ready to go, even more stairs out here. As much as it seems like the wide bay is close to being complete, I think we got a long way to go. Like, look at all this hand railing. I seriously think it's about to look like the VAB on the inside. all of this stuff looks like more platforms to hang across it. The second option and/or theory right now, and I'll see if any of you guys agree with this possibly, if I can find it.
The VAB has probably 6 adjustable levels, maybe more can be added. How many do you think they're going to have here at Starbase?
Well, right now they have one for each corner, and as I mentioned, it appears that they're about to start more of them over here. Sorry, I'm like trying to like imagine it in my head what these ones are as I'm talking. But I mean, this pile keeps growing every single week, so it's really hard to like anticipate how many they're going to have. Like you see these stairs right here. These are to connect like 2 sub levels. So like imagine, you know, most of your stairways you have to go up one and then come around the other in order to get up a full level. But these look like they're just going up sub levels. So I think we're going to see all kinds of like tiered platforms inside of here at some point. And I'm actually surprised that they haven't started like lifting this stuff in here just to get it out of the way. Like everything that's complete is kind of shocking me that it's not already lifted inside of there. But go ahead.
Somebody mentioned on Patreon Lounge that from the video that Elon posted, it looked like it could have been that they were setting up for that. You could see it in the video, maybe.
Well, I've been looking for signs of that, and the closest thing that I can see to show that they're preparing for it is this right here. So this crane right here is I don't even know the right word for it. Cantilevered crane, or I don't know if it's actually you consider it a crane or a cantilevered lifting jig, essentially. So by putting weights on one side of it, you can hang something off the other side, and then lift something into the side of a building with it. So the only thing I could...
That's a trebuchet. Just saying.
Almost the same thing, pretty much, actually. So, you know...
I did drop some pictures of the VAB, so if you wanted to show everybody what the finished product looks like, I got some good images in there for you.
Sure.
But yeah, NASA since the 60s have been using these style work platforms to allow access, and it's just kind of genius how it works. And your screen, there we go.
Yeah, so the sub-platform stairs I was talking about are like these. So you're not going up a full level like this, and even this one over here is like going up a full level. I feel like I'm seeing things that are similar to this in that image, which would not surprise me actually, and I'm actually hoping that is what's happening. Obviously, it's going to take some like a small amount of the floor space away, but from what we've seen so far, they have more than enough floor space in there.
Yeah, this totally worth it in terms of efficiency, ease of access, and getting rid of all that beeping. That would kill me. That'd be my main reason.
Is this real or a render?
From the thumbnail, I thought it was real, but it looks like a render now. It's too clean to be the VAB, right?
Yeah, it's got to be a render.
Yeah, the other picture I believe was an actual one from the VAB from the underneath.
Oh yes, I used this one in one of my YouTube videos. This is a really awesome picture. So
yeah,
here you can see it from the bottom side. This is pretty amazing. I would definitely love to stand in here at least one time.
I know. I did get to go and stand outside of the VAB fairly recently, and let me tell you, that is one huge building.
Yeah, when you look at pictures of it, it doesn't seem that large, but standing outside of it is a whole nother story, that's for sure. But with that being said, there is a ton of Starship stuff happening out here. Too much for me to I don't even know where to begin. What do you think is the most interesting out here, Jax?
Well,
let me guess.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool shot. We got a really good photo into the payload bay for ship 25.
How do I scare? Let's try this one.
And since the flyover, that's moved into the high bay and is getting ready for stacking right now. But yeah, we got a great view of those dual downcomers for the LOX and methane header tanks, the Starlink rack, and
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like how have we not seen these on the other on 24 and 25?
I think we saw them on like the corner of a ground photo one time from Chief or what about it, but I don't know. They just seem to be slipping by us. It's it's quite funny.
I think we got to see it as from Chief again when they were loading it down into the ship 24. But yeah, it's great to be able to see it inside of a ship payload bay before it gets all assembled.
Yeah, that's it's one of the. I feel like that's one of the first times we've seen something new in inside of these from the aerial view for a while. Am I wrong, or does this dome kind of look really?
It's a bit wobbly. It has character.
It's not finished yet. Give it time,
it has
man.
Character.
Yeah, so right there we have the common dome section for ship 26. It was just flipped recently. Yeah, they haven't sent it in for tile pinning yet to get the.
Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, sorry. They haven't sent it in to get the TPS tile studs yet, but hopefully that happens soon.
And forgive me for jumping in, but I just wanted to call attention to JK Video, who was very generous in the donation they just gave us. It's $200 that they just donated. Thank you so much, JK Video. And there are also a couple of other donations. Sebastian with £2. Hope you're all having a good afternoon. And Samsung 0804 has $5 and says, Zach, he has a couple of terabyte hard drives that he's willing to give you if you'd like. Free of charge, he says.
That's amazing, actually. I really appreciate that. And I think that maybe our team may be able to use it better than I will, because I personally have to like upgrade my internal hard drive because I'm kind of mobile a lot. Sometimes I'm here, sometimes I do the shows from my brother's house. Occasionally, I do them from my mom's house, and then I think I've only done it for my dad's like once, and they're all in different houses. So. I try not to use externals because it's a lot of like unplugging and plugging in when I'm on the road. So I think our team needs them equally as much as I do. So that would be really awesome if you're willing to help us out. And yeah, we definitely appreciate that. That's another one. You sounded like you were going to read another one.
Nope. We're good. I was just going to tell Samsung. He said to DM him. I was just going to tell Samsung to DM me.
Yeah, definitely. Indy, she is the what? How do we explain this? The admin for pretty much everything right now. Not everything, but you guys know what I mean.
She's the glue that holds us together. The linchpin.
I'm the HBIC, kids.
Oh,
I thought you were the HMFC.
Oh man! All right, so we have some more interesting stuff outside of the Mega Bay. We got some a lot of shielding for boosters out here. So some of this is for Booster 8, like a lot of it is, but obviously Booster 7 needs new equipment as well too. After that explosion, so I think which parts are they? You know what? I actually don't see any of the external panels that they lost. I don't see them on here. Out here, sorry. These all look like Booster 9 parts. So you have some chines out here. Obviously these go around the are these just for the RVAC? Are these just for the R boost, or they go around all of them?
Those will be going. Those curved black panels will be going around the center engines, the 13 center.
Okay, right, yeah. So yeah, these all look like they're just for Booster 8 for the most part.
They have that gimbaling seal on those, right?
Yeah, the pieces for that are over on the left side of the wide bay, just out front of it. Right piled up there. So those go at the top of the engines. Now, we don't know if Booster 7 is going to roll out with
Makes sense. They don't have those, and these are the same as the ones down here, correct?
They click together. I don't know if they're the exact same, but they work together.
Okay, that makes sense. And one other interesting thing here, which I think may have already happened, but we have this pipe, that autogenous pressurization pipe, I think, that goes on the side of the booster. And down here, it looks like they have a lifting jig that allows them to lift it with the bridge crane. So I think they sit it on top of here, and then they lift the bridge crane up, lift this up from this end. And I think there are 2 casters on the side, so it just rolls in as the top side is lifting up, and then once it's vertical, they just lift it up in the air and slap it on the side of the booster.
Yeah, and then it looks like it's already been used, I think, actually, because normally there's a bunch of wiring and aero covers pre-installed on it. So I think they might have already put at least the wires on the side of Booster 9's methane tank.
Interesting. What are we able to see at Booster 9 in here? Not much. We can
a little bit of methane section there.
Yeah, that's it. Where is the LOX tank?
Not assembled. It's all over the place in the ring yard, tent 1. It's everywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting. We have a new workstation down here too, which we're unable to really see. Sorry, this isn't a new one, but this is, well, actually everything in here is new, but we can't really see what this is. It's hard to tell whether or not this is actually a turntable, but I'm assuming it is. Again, I was almost wishing that Elon was like a few more feet into the wide bay so he could turn to the left and take a shot, but I feel like he's doing that on purpose. So.
Yeah, it's definitely. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, I keep getting distracted by the steel because it doesn't make sense having this much structural steel out here. Unless it's for more platforms. I'm just hoping that it's probably not what it's for. I'm just hoping that they're going to build out a second floor on top of the wide bay. So that's another thing that I've been looking for, but I'm not going to go ahead and say that that's what this is for yet.
I mean, that's the same structural steel they used, and it almost looks curved, like it might be for the same. No, I mean, sorry, it's on the way on both sides. But yeah, I mean, could be for more platforms for the other corners or for additional levels. Plenty of room that needs to be worked on constantly.
Yeah, these are longer than pretty much everything, and they actually, I believe, are long enough to span across between the 2 main girders on the inside of the roof. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that one.
So as far as those platforms go, you kind of need one at where you're working on the ship, which is right at the top, right at the skirt level, and then at the access hatches, and maybe a few other places. So I could definitely see those going at different levels.
Yeah, wherever your welds are taking place at. So I would assume there'd be one right below the grid fins as well too, or maybe right above the grid fins, so that you can just walk. Like it would cup around the side of the top, so then you just get a little small step ladder and step into there instead of have all those aerial work platforms in there.
Exactly. And they even might be a slightly adjustable, but then again, with SpaceX, if they've locked in, they might just weld them in, and if they need to move it, cut it out and re-weld it.
Agreed. Yeah, and I was looking for some ground shots for right in front of that building, so I'm going to grab those while we're still talking here. There was some really cool ones of the backside of, and maybe this is it. So I think these were maybe taken on different days, and I'm going to swap over right here. This is ship 25.
Yep, ship 25's payload bay.
And that just got moved into the high bay, didn't it?
Oh, this is the payload bay?
Yep.
Wow, when I looked at it from that aerial view, it didn't look like that. It's hard to see the tiles from the aerial view.
There's even a label on the stand itself, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner of that image.
Yeah, that was a pretty good find by Mauricio. I've never seen anything like that label before.
Wow.
This one?
Yeah, he has a clearer shot of it.
Yeah, I saw it. Let me go find that.
So it kind of says this card is designated for the S25 Payload Barrel.
That's SpaceX trolling you, Mauricio. I just know it.
Do not take it.
that note comes from experience, and you know it.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyone who's ever worked in industry knows if something's just sitting around loose, someone will steal it because they need it.
Yeah, we need something to put this on. It's interesting that they would need something just designated for just that one ship like that, but yeah, like I said, I always get excited every time I see these because the tiles just look better and better every single time. And Mauricio, did you have another? Oh, what is going on here? Sorry, guys, my screen keeps changing resolutions. It's been a weird day. I almost feel like I'm being hacked or something.
That's me.
It's really weird.
So yeah, I'll be providing some wallpapers of these heat towels. These are from Ship 20, I believe, and we want to have that as background wallpaper for your desktop. Or there's a desktop version and there's also a mobile version. So I'll provide those throughout the stream later on.
Yeah, Mauricio, I've been using those as my background for I don't know how long, maybe 6 months or more now.
Yeah, those ones are really cool. Sorry, I had to switch over because I was trying to get it to not zoom out every single time. It's been a rough morning. We actually started the show off a little late today because we were having some issues with on my side, and it's still doing it, so it's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, I think Mauricio will have this as a wallpaper, and it's a vertical image as well too. So that's probably why it's doing what it's doing on my computer here.
Yes, sir. All the rest of them are shorter, but all good, man. You're doing a good job today.
So back to where we were before. There's also some more interesting stuff out here, and I'm gonna switch to better view. Oh, actually, that was a good one to stay on, but I'll come back to it. So beyond that payload bay, this is the old payload bay. Then this would be
That's part of Ship 26's LOX tank. That'll be the mid-LOX section. You can see the gap in the tiles there for the aft flap.
Sounds like you said Aflac.
That's what I heard too. Aflac.
Yeah, that's so we have that, and then this is another. Is that a payload bay?
Yeah, another payload bay. They have like 4 of these things all around the place. That's for Ship 26, I think.
So we got 25, 26, and then I'm assuming has one for 27 been spotted yet?
I think that's by the low bay.
Wow.
And 28? Do I hear 29?
We have some parts of 29, correct? Or sorry, 28 we saw today?
28 and 29, yeah, but we spotted Ship 28's forward domer, Mauricio did, which was that was a pretty good find.
Let's go ahead and take a look at that really quick. We can go ahead and skip forward. I am going to see if I can find that here in the background while we do that, and also take us over there in the aerial photos. So we have a dome that's out in the yard, or was out in the yard. Is it in this image?
So it's not in this image. These two are just pathfinders. I think I'm pretty sure the Ship 28 one just came out just before Mauricio took the ground photos.
Okay. I'm gonna swap over to the ground images then and see if we can find it here. It might need some help from you guys because I can't remember which one it was. I believe it's like right in front of oh, there we go with the weird stuff. I think it was in front of. Oh no, we're in the ring yard, right? So I'm in the wrong spot.
It's gonna be towards the end, I think.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's the dome right there. I don't know if the label's visible in that photo though.
No.
You're missing that image.
Am I?
No, just go down one. Go a little lower on that one, if you can.
No, I think that's as low as I can go. I might actually be missing that image.
Or check towards the end of the gallery. I think it should be there should be another copy of it zoomed in towards the very end of that.
Yeah, I posted in live comms. There's a photo of the label.
Ah, that's a much better version. There you
Yeah,
go.
we have the label right here.
Nice.
Just scribbled in marker, and but hey, it's a label.
Yeah, but to Mauricio's point, it does look like it's gotten lighter, so maybe they're switching it up on us.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You said that we were saying earlier that this is also the first time we've seen this in a while, as far as an actual labeled dome, correct?
Yeah, I think it's been over a year since we've seen a dome label, just because they don't do that, or at least we don't see them. But this is quite cool, and I don't know if this will end up getting used. Sometimes they'll make a new, better one and scrap it. It depends on the results of the E-Dome test tanks test.
Right.
But at least they're working towards getting one of these on a vehicle, and it lets us know that Ship 28 is going to be featuring at least some upgrades. It's going to be probably a new generation.
So it'll be the first of that new generation as well, right?
We think so, at least, yeah.
Interesting.
Or they went down a wrong end, and this will all be scrapped.
And I think I just figured out the issue I was having. We're good to go now on the ground pictures. I'm actually able to see things correctly now, so hopefully we don't have that issue anymore. Anyways, so moving back to this aerial view right here. Okay. Sorry, I just noticed something else. This has been a really tough day.
And it's only 11 o'clock in the morning in California.
Yeah.
Well, I wish we could all be California. I mean, over there.
You already are.
All right, and thank you guys for bearing with me. I'm sorry, this has been really weird. So, anyways, moving on through out here. So we have, like you said, Jax, this is it would be the first version of that dome that we've seen for an actual forward dome, but we obviously know that they do have common domes versions, right? And there's no reason to do that or is there a reason to do it for the aft dome?
The aft dome's a tricky one because it's a very particular shape. So the RVACs and centers are flush at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if they end up switching over to some sort of stretch form design for that. I don't know if we've seen any indication that they're going to be doing that yet, but we'll keep an eye out.
The other thing that worries me about going to stretch form for the aft dome is the structural integrity of all that force going through the dome. It feels like the stretch dome may not be as strong as the old dome.
Why do you say that?
Just the geometry of it.
Sorry, guys. I can't even switch back and forth between these images right now. This is very, very odd.
Yeah, I do think the stretch domes would be good for holding pressure for the forward dome and the common dome. But yeah, the aft dome also has to take the strength of the center raptors pushing through it.
But I feel like that's all dispersed, right? It's evenly distributed throughout the whole ship and booster.
Well, yeah, but the centers push on the center of the aft dome puck, and the old design has that load transferred through correctly, but the stretch dome is a little bit different, a little bit weaker in some ways because of its geometry.
But I feel like it's all cylindrical, and cylindrical is the strongest. Well, I guess triangles.
No, it's taking it from the center of the dome to the wall of the cylinder. That's what would crush. Yep.
Okay.
All right, I think I'm good.
Oh, real fast then, I'll just say this. $10 donation from James. Thank you so much, James. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it's because I have so many images open at the same time right now that could be part of the issue. So
it's all the space you're running out of.
Oh yeah, I don't know. This is just, like I said, been a really weird morning as far as computer glitches go. So, anyways, was there anything else down here that we wanted to talk about?
Well, over beside the booster thrust puck, I know a little while ago we saw a piece of what we think is for booster 12's downcomer. This section is longer than what we've normally seen, and just because of the placement of the hoop stiffeners on the side of it, we don't necessarily think the header tank's getting bigger, but what we do think is that they're moving the connection between this bottom piece and the big main piece of the downcomer. We think that they're moving that just further away from the LOX header tank, so you don't have so many weak points in one area, so many welds. Because right now, like on booster 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, they're really close together. And I'd imagine that's probably a concern.
So, Jax, how many thrust pucks are we seeing for the boosters? How far are we up to?
I think this is 12s right now.
Oh, wow. So they are hammering on these boosters.
Literally.
Oh, it's horribly fast. And I think there was a ship thrust puck outside in the last flyover, which we don't have any label or anything, but if they've used them all, that would have been for ship 30. So
What?
they're moving ahead really quick.
My question is, what's going to happen when the Starbase Kennedy comes online? Because how are you guys going to decide? How are they, and how are they going to decide what the numbers are? Like, are they just going to start numbering them differently down there? And I don't know, like Starbase gets all the even numbers and KSC gets all the odd numbers or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Maybe KSC will get all the name ships.
That actually would make sense. Considering they would be flying specific missions out of there. I don't know. Actually, they should be named either way, in my opinion, because this is going to get out of control here soon.
Wouldn't they have like a header of the location that they were built at, like ships do, regular ships? On the ocean ships?
It could be a possibility. I feel like, I don't know, we'll probably have to wait like 6 more months in order to find that out. But
before you get
really quickly, go ahead.
I was just going to say, can we remind everybody to hit the like button, maybe? And to also hit the remind button. We really want you guys to know when we are about to go live, if we have any issues, if we have new stuff coming out. Mauricio also does flyover videos and things like that when he does the aerial photos. So we really want to make sure you all get to do that. So if you haven't already, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And when you see that little bell icon, make sure you hit the bell icon to get the notifications.
And related to that, Mauricio, you had mentioned that you might be dropping the wallpaper at some point.
Yes, I'm gonna drop the wallpaper once we get to 500 likes. So the sooner we get there, the sooner I drop that. And also, there was a question by Crane Man. Can you label the rings for what ship in the RGB aerial overviews? Yep. I think he means. I think Jax just did that, so we can probably show that.
Yeah, we'll pull it up right here. Give me 1 second.
And for everybody in the chat, we are definitely Team Jax around here.
Oh yeah, he in the back end. He's always coming in clutch. But oh my God, yeah, it's good to have you on the front end here with us, sir.
Back.
I'll tell you guys what. Windows is not having a good day today. So we're gonna be looking at Max someday soon. I hate to say that.
Wow, blasphemy.
Yeah, I know, right? But I feel like these problems just don't really occur on Max. So we have, starting down from the right. I'll go ahead and let you talk about them, Jax, if you want to.
Great. So yeah, we have ship 25's nose cone, and that's since been, I think, just overnight today. It was moved over to the high bay for stacking, which is fantastic to see. They're moving along.
Oh gosh. With that. Sorry. What happened? Over zoom. Sorry, guys. There's so much in this image. Look at this. Okay.
But yeah, then down here we have ship 27's payload bay, and I don't know if you can kind of see in the stringers on the inside of it. There's a gap for the Pez door in the stringers.
Right here.
Yeah, there's just a little gap. So we know at least up to ship 27 is going to be using this design.
So, Jax, I got to ask, and I'm sure everyone in chat is wondering the same thing. How do you know this one is for ship 27?
Well, it can get tough sometimes when they start making a lot of things, but sometimes we will have part labels, so we'll fill in the blanks. Especially because right now payload bays are the only 5-ring section on the ship. It's nice. It's pretty easy to tell when they make a new one. We'll say that's probably ship 26. That's probably ship 27. Then we'll say we got a label on one of them. We fill in the blanks that way. There's a lot of connecting the dots, but it usually pans out pretty well.
Yeah, well, let me just say, I am always impressed with the work you guys do. That's amazing how y'all's detective skills work all that stuff out. Appreciate it.
How often do you end up being wrong about these things?
Uh,
Like you assume something is one thing, and then like a few weeks later, it turns out something else.
It's happened, especially when they make design changes. It happens, especially because we didn't know that they were turning a ship part nearly identical into a matching booster part. So we thought they were like going to go put tile pins on like a booster. we were just. It was a confusing week.
And then they'll occasionally do something like make a mongrel ship between, what was it, 21 and 22?
Yeah, I want them to scrap that.
This is why I don't even try to keep up with them a lot of times, because it's just way too difficult. There's just so much going on as far as all these ship domes. Like the dome yard is almost more exciting than the actual ring yard, I would say, because there's more like future stuff out here. Whereas in the ring yard, you're not really going to see anything other than maybe a few ring sections that have like some stringers and stuff in there. But
you at times, that's definitely right.
Why do you think this old ship dome's still here?
Because they're too lazy to scrap it. That's what it's been outside since like March.
Yeah, but Jackson, too lazy to scrap it. They scrap everything at some point. So why not this?
Okay, they made the cool smooth dome with a downcomer sump installed into it, and they scrapped that before the older smooth dome.
So I want to throw this out there for everybody so they understand. Jax is super critical of SpaceX in these ways because he spends a lot of time tracking this stuff, and so when things don't make sense, it's very frustrating. And yeah, like we say a lot of stuff behind the scenes that might make people think like we're haters, but it's just we almost feel like inventory managers sometimes, and I'm sure their inventory manager feels the same way, where it's like, why is this still here? And yeah, I mean, this could be just one of those things where they just haven't had time to move it, or they're doing other things, or completely forgot about it. But yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, as much as we joke, it's fantastic what they're doing here, and the fact that we can see it, and we have the ability to track it all. It's crazy.
You know, for all we know, there could be lights hung on the inside of this, and there's like ventilation right there, and you have to crawl underneath it, and there's like a lunchroom inside. That actually you probably could fit that.
That's their smoking section.
That's definitely that's definitely it.
So one thing, and I think it might be in this image, that little hole in the center of the smooth dome, didn't we find a little cap that goes on that dome?
Yeah, so they have some of those scattered around. Right now, it's currently a bit of an internal debate between us and the Ring Watchers. Let's say if to put in the downcomer, they have to make the hole wider on the dome. Some of us think yes, some of us think no. So that's why we were kind of hoping the common dome would be in the flyover, but then they scrapped it. So, they just don't seem to be wasting their time on dome caps right now.
Right. You know, the other interesting thing I've been wondering actually, so ever since the B7 event, do you know if there's been any changes to the actual the downcomer?
That's a funny one for sure. When they were originally designed, they put a handful of hoop stiffeners on them, like the bare minimum needed. But you look at these new ones, and it's just they welded as many as possible, and that thing is completely dotted with them. I wonder why.
Yeah, I almost wait. Do we have a? Because I don't think we can see this one from the ground this week because it's tucked in behind here. I think we saw it when it rolled in, though, right?
Yeah, on Rover 1 from Lab Padre.
Okay. Oh, we don't. That's the only images we have of it, huh? They just took it straight here. Yeah. So they do you think they just doubled up the amount of ribs, or like more than that?
Maybe even more. They they put an insane amount more. They just filled every space.
Wow. That's pretty awesome, actually. I kind of want to like see that in a close-up if we were able to even find that image from Lab Padre. But yeah, we have also ship 29's aft sleeve here, which means that the dome is probably in one of these tents getting prepared to come out here soon, so they can actually sleeve it, I'm guessing.
Yep, we haven't seen it yet, but it's probably in there somewhere. At the top there, I just noticed it before the stream. There's just a QD panel for a ship sitting on the ground. It's just I thought that was
you can barely see it. Yep.
Something you don't normally see.
Yeah, kind of weird to like see all these parts out here. I remember when I went to the airport, Brownsville Airport. I wonder if they still have that storage out there. It's been a while since I've been there, but it'd be interesting to go outside of that yard again and see what they currently have. I haven't seen anybody take a picture of it since the time that I went out there, but maybe we'll get somebody to go do that. Actually, Mauricio, you go past the airport, right?
No, I don't pass by the airport.
Yet?
I don't fly out of that one.
Just kidding. Gotcha.
I can take a look next time I'm in Brownsville.
For sure. Well, let me switch back to our other view of this, and I want to actually. I want to cover some launch site stuff. I'm hesitant to go there right away because you guys know how I feel about that.
Random questions? For the
random questions.
Well, they're stuff we've already talked about, so they're not specifically on the topic that we're on. That's why I was asking.
Oh yeah, let's do it. I like random questions.
There's a question from Wolf21 is asking, what do you think is going to happen with E-Dome test tank? It was rolled out and never tested.
The E-Dome test tank. That's a good question. I don't think that. Well, we've seen it. Oh no, sorry. I was thinking of the 7.1. The E-Dome is really weird because it's basically just been sitting in that same spot. So, like in the middle of the launch site, I can just show what we're talking about here really quick. And that's not it, but I will find it. It's sitting right here.
That's ship 24.
24. So the E-Dome is really just chilling here right now. I have a feeling, number one, we don't really know what the purpose of this is other than to test the smooth dome, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think there's not a need to test this until there's one inside of a ship. But at the same time, now that I think about it, it's kind of weird that they would be sleeving more of these without doing that test first. I feel like they already kind of know what's going to happen, but it's more for like having the actual data for it. But
yeah. The SpaceX isn't unknown to test or to install untested things in vehicles, especially when it comes to things like thrust pucks. Like when they tested booster, well, they didn't even make a test tank for booster 7s, but for booster 3, they didn't send the BN2 test tank out there until I'm pretty sure booster 3's thrust section was well into production by then.
Wow, that's it may seem a little bit backwards, but I have a feeling they're really just verifying data. So it's like you trust your simulation data, but you want to verify it. So I don't know.
Jax or Zach, you might be able to confirm this. I forget where I heard it, but SpaceX has kind of a separate test design team that grabs the new parts, puts them into a test configuration, constructs them, and schedules them for testing. So it's kind of separate from the production and launch cadence cycles. And I think that's why some of these things like the nose cone max G testing and articles like that all came from a separate team, and they come in at times as dictated by that team's leadership.
That's quite interesting.
That makes sense, actually, yeah.
And I forget where I heard that from, but it came from external community sources. Not sure where it was learned from originally.
All right, I got another question for you guys. What would be the point of a second tower in Boca for 5 launches per year? That's from Crow Guy.
Because they ain't doing 5 launches a year. They're going to do everything they can to do 20, 30, 100. I mean, I think their long game, and this is speculation, is that they want to do as many launches as possible from here for testing. And, and look, even if they don't do that many launches, 2 towers allows them to have 2 boosters on for 2 sets of tests, and it allows them to keep up a launch cadence and a test cadence at the same time.
Right on. And then did we get to see that image with we did, with the labels and everything, right?
Yeah, we'll touch on it again. I'll go back because I'm going to cover some more ground images as well. What I wanted to talk about right now is the Starfactory, because we finally got ourselves a. Oh, okay. I guess it's not completed, but they've started it at least. Last week, I don't think this corner was on at all, and so they finally have started to reach the end of the building, which I'm not gonna lie, makes me a little bit sad, because I don't think they've gotten they don't only have 3 bridge cranes in there right now. So I was hoping for more, but that's not to say that they can't still roll them through here.
By the way, this closing in of the roof reminds me of Indiana Jones as the doors closing. We're losing our view from the top.
Very true. We are. There's very little we can see from above anymore. Once this roof is on, but what we can see is that, as I mentioned last week, that I thought they put this up here. It looks like they did get the first AC unit up there. The other holes are kind of closed off, and they're still waiting down here. Wait, where'd they go? I think they're on the left side a little bit. It's okay.
Right, I see one there.
You guys trust me. Yeah, there's one down there. But they've gotten one up here, and they're making progress getting across the rest of the roof. Definitely extremely busy up here. But let's go ahead and look at this from the ground. As always, we got to take a look on the inside. And who knows, maybe this will be one of the last times we get to do this. So, looking at it from the front, you guys can see that they have these the wall panels right here. Or sorry, the first of the outer skin, which is weird because it's nowhere near the same material as the. Oh, it does match the backside. Does it?
Well, that's not the outer skin that you're seeing. That's insulation that was put on.
Well, I'm just looking at these beams right here. I don't know if there's. I think there are only 3 on the back wall actually as well too. So I thought there was more than that. Yeah, but soon this will probably be closed up, and so there's not a lot many times where we're going to be able to actually see in here. But as you guys can see, they have bridge crane number 1 in the back over there, and this is a 20-ton bridge crane. They also have. Is that an internal AC unit?
That might be the
ductwork.
Oh, that's the mechanical room, right?
Yeah, and this would be probably just temp AC coming from outside. I think we might be able to see that from the aerial view actually, but I'll go back. No, it's not coming from outside.
So Zach, can I ask you a question about the overall design about the Starfactory?
Sure, let's do it.
So on the right-hand side of this image, there's an opening where you can get Starship barrel sections in on the backhand side, right?
Yes.
Or there was. Yeah. And so as ships or barrel sections are coming in, there we go. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. So as ship sections are coming in on that side, are they going to be able to traverse to the left side? And follow up on that is that if they only have that one entrance on that side and there's no gap wide enough to go over to the right to tent 3, nor to the left, nor out the back, every ring section that comes in there on that side is going to have to exit out, go outside, and then work its way back through tents 3, 2, and 1 as needed.
That is a tough question. I think when you look at it from the aerial view, that's an aerial view. That's not the Starfactory. All right, let's get us back to Starfactory. So Oh man, it's so tough to see right now. I'm going to get on the back side of it.
There we go.
So you could see each of these pillars right here, and they're equally spaced all over the place. That's actually a really good question. I don't know. We have a ring section right here, and I believe that can fit through there.
Yeah, no, I would definitely like to see a measurement to see if that could fit in between those two girders. It would make sense that it could, but and you would also have to get the base stand that it's rolling around on as well.
Ooh, look at that. This is interesting. So I had a feeling this might happen. This is a double wall. You see the extra beams right here, and they're doing the same on this side. And then I think they're gonna remove this one, and then you'll have another doorway for the ring sections to come out.
Yes, that is exactly where I wanted to see that. That's perfect.
Finally, holy crap, that took forever.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess that explains why it took so long for them to get the roof up here. I mean,
hold on.
I don't understand why this temporary one's even necessary, though.
Just to hold it up while they're constructing the others around it, while they have a roof up there, and plus it's easy to knock out.
But on the other side, you have these are
the other side's not going to be doubly. The other side's not going to be double supported like this, so it needs to retain that piece. Now in the center, I'm very interested to see if opposite from this image, if there's going to be double supports on either side in the center of the Starfactory number 4.
The matching building?
No. Just in the center of this building, are they laying the groundwork for double supports just north of where your cursor is? Right there.
Right here? Nope.
I would imagine that you would want doubles there just so you could get traverse the center of the building with a full ring stack. By the way, for everybody wondering, those double or even triple supports allow a wider span and allows them to remove that center column, which then allows them to go from, and I'm calling this Starfactory building number 4 here. This allows a direct connection from building 4 to the building 3, which is the one just closer to the highway down on this image.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I'm glad we finally found that.
Yeah, this is huge to me.
Let's get, and you know, the other thing that we noticed earlier today, and I don't think this is here anymore, according to Jax, is that it appeared that they were putting a doorway here, like a just something for humans, not actual vehicles or whatever. But I think that is closed in now. Do we have a shot of that one from the back?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
I'm gonna go back to the one from the front, the picture from the front, because there's still a lot to see in that one.
And Philakid says there is no column in the center right there, so they just skipped that one, allegedly.
So I don't know if we've pointed this out this week, but not only do they have the 20-ton bridge crane. Sorry, we have a 20-ton bridge crane up here. There's another one to the left that we are not currently able to see. And then right here, we have a 5-ton jib crane? Pedestal crane? I don't know what you would call this one. I think this is maybe just a pedestal crane. But yeah, we have a 5-ton crane right here, which would probably be for... I don't even know, like just lifting smaller stuff inside of the ring sections. So like if you have your downcomer that you're lifting in there, or any of the stuff that goes onto the side, this would probably be what you would use in order to lift that in there. And I have that Jax found the image from the backside. So let me open that up. Where'd it go?
And so while you do that, just a reminder to go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell.
You know, last week was the first week I think we didn't hit 420 likes. So it really does help when we actually say it, but I know it gets annoying to you guys. But we definitely do appreciate when you guys are able to do that for us, because it helps with the YouTube algorithm, obviously. And while it does sound repetitive to say that, it is very much true. YouTube has to think that people actually like what they're watching, or else they won't suggest it. So yeah, we appreciate your guys' help with that, and we like getting more people in here, because it's nice just to like educate the audience as a whole. So that way, like a lot of times when we're hanging out in some of the chats and the live streams, you get a lot of people who like really have no idea what's going on, and then you're trying to like educate them there, and it's really impossible inside of a chat. So I've noticed over time that it seems like the audience as a whole has gotten more and more educated as far as like what's happening out here. So I hope you guys feel that we're contributing to that in some way. That's definitely our goal every single week. And yeah, appreciate you guys being here.
Sorry. It's always nice to have conversations when everybody's on the same level playing field. Then we get to have some really in-depth, really cool conversations and figure out some stuff that we'd never thought of before.
Yeah, this is... Okay, so on this front side image, sorry to change the subject again, but on this front side image, where we thought that doorway was, it looks like they did in fact just cover that up. So, yeah, I guess there's no people entering through there. There's only going to be the door over here, and then the one on the other side. But yeah, that makes me happy that we finally found that, because we've been looking for quite a while on that one, actually. So continuing on, I don't know if there was really anything else we needed to touch on as far as Starfactory goes. I haven't really had much progress up on this side, and yeah, that's probably the most exciting update as far as Starfactory goes.
And they put in the AC unit, I think, on that first one, right?
Yes. Yeah, they got that first one up there that we mentioned, and then yeah, that's pretty much all. I think I really want to get to launch site this week, because we have some really awesome ground shots that I want to cover, especially since Mauricio happened to show up there while they were about to lift booster 7 off of the launch mount. So with that being said, let's go ahead and swap over to those ground images. Obviously, I got to find which one I'm looking for first, but so let's go ahead and just start at the beginning. So Mauricio, you showed up, and booster 7 was still on the launch mount. Did you go? Were you planning to go this day because you thought they were going to lift it off, or was it just how it worked out?
We always go out there on Fridays to the launch site. I mean, to the Starbase, so it worked out. I mean, I was on my way to the launch to Starbase, and I noticed that on the streams that it looked like they were getting ready to lift the booster. So I got there, and it turned out that they took a while to lift it off this time around, or else it might have seemed like that because we were out in the sun for about 2 hours, me and Sunny, and we just wanted it to happen already. But according to Dave, they took a while because they were covering up the QD connections with tape.
Yes,
you might see that.
There's several things that they could have been doing, and I think let's actually even look at this from the air really quick, because now that I think about it, this was the aerials were a few days before the ground shots. So when you came out, the second static fire had already happened. So this is what it looked like after the first static fire. So you guys can see that the bottom of the legs still got charred again, like they did after the explosion. And look at that. You can even see all the way to the edge.
Thank goodness for that shielding.
Yeah, right? Like, I wonder what the static fire would look like if at all different without those, if it would just change the flow profile. Excuse me, sorry, I had a cough there in the background.
And always the question is, what about a flame diverter?
I think that's about all we're going to get. You know, I initially thought that we were going to see some extra covers on the legs already after I saw these 2 panels on the ground, but I realized later that these are actually covering up access holes for them to service anything that's inside of here if they need to. There's a few, I forget what you call the boxes that are in the ground down here.
Culverts.
Yeah, it is a culvert, but I don't think that's the word for these ones.
So this,
I'm sure somebody else.
Yeah, this orbital launch mount is what, 60 feet off the ground, 20 meters thereabouts, and that gives a lot more distance to dissipate the force of the rocket engine. I'm almost more interested to see underneath Ship 24 and see how that ground survived.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, we should pull up that image of that Elon posted with the booster in the middle of the static fire, because that was one of the best images I think that we had, because it was right before all the dust kicked up, and you can see how far off the ground that flame is, which is something I've been waiting to see for a long time. So we'll pull that up in the background. But yeah, like, you know, it doesn't look too bad right now. And the interesting part that I saw during that static fire was that there was so much dust up in the air. So before the test, they actually came here and they like swept away most of the dust. You can actually see it right here, like where they swept all the dust to. But that literally did not matter at all, because as soon as those engines kicked up, like there was just dust coming out of nowhere. It almost seemed like it was just materializing from thin air. But
that's a hell of a leaf blower they got there.
Yeah, for sure. And we have this is a really cool shot. So we have a shot of, I don't know if I've seen this one.
Oh, nice. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I don't know.
I like it.
SpaceX. Oh, that was from the 22nd. That was from the 22nd static fire. This one is from the 3-second static fire. Oh, look at this. You can actually see it on the ground. So I was saying this before. This was a partial sweep. They partially sweeped it, because you could see all this dirt down here on the left side, and then you could just.
I think I need to hide the bottom bar so they can see what you're looking at. There you go. Now go ahead, please.
There we go. Yeah, you can see all of this dust over here, and it looks like it's just barely swept up on the bottom down here. Like, that explains why there's so much dust. You can even see it starting as soon as at the bottom of the launch mount. But yeah, from this one we can't really see where the flame is touching as much. But down here, this was like the moment of ignition. So flame definitely touching the ground. This looks really good from this angle, actually. Wow. You never really get to see the launch site from this angle.
Since I love math and figures so much, I want to throw out there that these rocket engines put out 650 kilograms per second each. So like just the 3 doing the boost back burn for 30 seconds is like 50 metric tons worth of propellant, both oxygen and methane.
This is definitely my favorite view of the launch site I think I've ever seen, just because of the way that how clean this looks like a render. As far as the all the concrete in this area, it looks like a render.
It's a crazy photo.
Yeah, this is intense. I've definitely never seen this one before, so I'm not gonna try not to get too caught up on that, or else we'll be sitting there staring at it for a while. But
thank you.
Oh, you know what? One thing I wanted to point out, though, which I do like, now that they've got all the grading on it, is that the drainage that they have set up, and you can see it even better now with the grading on there, that it's a pretty significant ditch. Sorry, that's not the right word. But a little, like a trough to go down into the drainage, which is interesting, because I wonder, like, if it doesn't seem like they're piping it out of here, so it's kind of just like a gutter that water would have to evaporate from naturally.
Well, actually, if you look at the PEA, they are planning from a few years ago to build a retaining pool that allows it to evaporate right there. So that would make perfect sense to catch the water there and then pin it to that pool and then let it evaporate there without going into the environment.
Yeah, it looks really cool too. It's probably really deep as well. I mean, it doesn't look like much from up here, but if the fact that you can even see the shadow right there kind of lets you know that this is a pretty deep actual trough. So Like I said, after some of our previous shows, people have pointed out that it seems like SpaceX isn't doing what they need to stop runoff in these areas, and I disagree with that because I don't think your liquid flow of whatever it is, whether it's water or even liquid oxygen, is necessarily leaving the pad, while it may look like it is, because there's so much venting, or what it appears like venting, coming off this area sometimes. It's like curling over, but the actual liquid portion is staying in here. So again, that is not the case for this side, but clearly it doesn't matter because they've been doing this forever, so it's not like a secret. I feel like reiterating this every time because I was really bothered when people mention that, like, this has been happening for a very long time. It also happens on the suborbital side since day one, so it's not really anything new. But yeah, very interesting the way that they set all this stuff up, and I actually am excited to talk about it more here in the next few weeks because this is a really, really cool tank farm in my opinion, and I'm holding off a little bit because they're building the one in Florida, and I want to see exactly how different that is. I think that'll explain a lot of what's going on here. So,
I was just about to ask you about that. Like, I know the one in KSC, they're refurbishing the old hydrogen sphere tank into holding natural gas.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, you're right.
Let me, yeah.
So when we were talking about that runoff area, and you were talking about the evaporation pool, doesn't an evaporation pool mean mosquitoes? Don't they want less mosquitoes?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
You can treat mosquitoes in a number of safe ways. Like one of the more environmentally friendly ways is just electrocuting them. But yeah, no, you can.
Environmentally friendly?
Well,
just the way you said it.
I have a way with words sometimes. No, you can spray insect repellent, DDT or whatever, into the pool. But yeah, there's a lot of ways of handling that. But yeah, you are right. If it left untreated, it would be a mosquito. Fun times.
I don't know if this is the right one that I want. I want the unlabeled. Let's see if I can find you guys the unlabeled one really quick. Here we go. So this is okay. This might be tough to.
I'm going to give you my version too.
Cool. So when we look at the, these are some new overheads of KSC since since Grandpa Joe's asked. We can see a few interesting things on this. Number one, obviously the tower looks pretty funny from this angle. It looks like you're looking like you're laying on top of a table looking underneath it. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard to explain the way that this looks to me right now. It just looks wrong. So you guys can see this tank on top of the roof right here. We've seen this on the ground, and in my opinion, from the air, it looks pretty obvious that there's going to be a second one. And obviously, you have the two different size rings. So there's a 21. I think 21 meter ring, and then 17 point something. So it looks like this is going to be a double tank, in my opinion. And we've kind of been thinking that from the start anyways, because it doesn't really make there's no other secondary base happening out here. But you know what? We might as well throw in some ground images from like Felix or something if we have any non-Patreon ones, just to talk about this. But yeah, we have down here as well these two tanks that have been set up. And as you guys can see, they're clearing space for more of them. So, I mean, what does that look like to you guys? Like, am I the crazy one that thinks this is a methane farm?
No, you're not crazy.
You're not crazy, but I'm going to throw out protection that I think it's kind of an insurance or compliance measure. That having something in between that's neutral between the literal only place in America where you can get to space and the new experimental explodey place. So I kind of think that might be why that is right exactly there.
Look at this. You see this foundation that they're clearing out right here that they may be about to pour concrete in. Yeah. And then you have these 4 tanks right here. To me, that looks like this.
I agree with you. If you could pull up my image, just real quickly, I wanted to go over that they have a fair amount of oxygen and potentially, sorry, not that one, the other one. They potentially have a lot of CH4 and oxygen storage, but they have very little nitrogen storage, and it's currently sitting under the pad for the human spaceflight operations. So right where that is would be a great place to put some nitrogen rechillers and your nitrogen storage, which is neutral, and I think that would be the wiser thing to do. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but it would be one thing I would definitely consider if I were constructing this.
Well, I have nothing to back up my opinion on this, but what I will say is, you guys hear me say stuff like this on Twitter a lot because I don't believe that these two are what we think they are, even though there's new construction happening on this one over here. I just personally don't think you're going to be supplying liquid oxygen for both operations out of the same spot because, number one, this is super far away. And they're going to have to upgrade it in size, but with the rate that Falcon 9 launches at versus what we expect Starship to do, that's two very different size tank farms that you need right there, in my opinion. I just don't think that this is even possible to expand this the way you need to unless you start building GSE tanks over here, which is not happening. There's like no ground clearing happening over there at all. So I just personally don't think the liquid oxygen side of the tank farm is going to be, of the Falcon 9 tank farm, is going to be expanded. But again, I do think that this looks like the start of what we see as the methane tank farm. And obviously you have the tank sitting here waiting. But even more important than that, the water, you want your water and your nitrogen to be in the middle of your liquid oxygen and your methane, ideally.
I will add one other data point to for your opinion, which is this facility used to be where they launched the Apollo missions out of, and they had a fair bit of hydrogen, which is less dense than methane, and they had a lot of oxygen to fill that guy up. So, I think they've got more storage there than just for Falcon 9, and enough to do a orbital class super heavy booster load.
But that was half the size of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's half the thrust. I'm not sure if it's half the propellant load.
Well, the Saturn V tapers upwards, right? And it's got to be way less volume than we could probably find this. We're not going to look it up right here, but we could go into this forever. There is one last thing that I just wanted to mention while we were at that image is this little guy down here. So I mentioned this on Twitter last week, but I had not ever seen it from the air before, but you can see this concentric little ring right here, and then there's the two little nubs coming off of it. So I think this is most likely a water deluge manifold. And so if you look at the actual launch site, I cannot even, okay, there you go. You can see the base right there. And let me kind of get them so you can see both of them at the same time. Like, this really does look like it could fit perfectly around that base, like towards the top. So or even towards the bottom, because with the suborbital stand, I think their water deluge is at the bottom of the launch or the bottom of the suborbital stand. I think there's some up top, but from the other day, it looked like they were flooding it from the bottom, right? Jax, you were the one who caught that one live, right? I think I saw that after you posted it.
Oh yeah. They tested out the deluge. It just shoots out from the ground.
Yeah, this to me looks like it could go either up top or down below. But we already know that they have the water deluge on the Starbase one. So let's just go ahead and swap back over to that. So you have this deluge ring right here, or whatever you want to call it. I have a feeling if you were to take this and set it on the ground, it would be about the same diameter as the one that we were just looking at. However, the other one is like, I don't know, 10 times larger. So that makes a lot of sense. And if you had this here, I would almost expect the same ring right here that's going towards the inside, and then above that, like mounted right to the edge, would be the larger one that goes all the way around. And then that one, in my opinion, would probably waterfall straight down. So you have the interior one, and then you have a waterfall going around each of the legs. So we will see. Keeping an eye on that one, but it's still interesting to see. And while we talk about interesting items, if you guys saw the static fire tests from this week, you would have noticed some new venting that was going on the side of the launch mount. And I was actually hoping that we were going to see even more of it, because they've got a lot set up down here, so you guys can see. Ooh. Okay, so there's these pipes right here, which go down and underneath the launch mount. And when you look at it from the inside, you can see one right there that's coming up. I think there's another.
There's a better photo of it coming up on the inside.
Let me I don't see it here. We got lots of pictures to check through. I think I want to get more towards the front of the launch mount, actually. This might be a good angle. Not really, but it's still good to actually see this. So you guys can see the pipe going up and around and then down through and underneath. Man, they got those on there super quick, and they were in a rush to do it, that's for sure. I'm not going to get super deep into why, but it is just an interesting thing to notice. And I do see a few that, I'm not sure if this is the same thing right here, that appear to actually be coming from inside the table. And when we looked at it from that other view as well, I did notice one that appeared to be coming out of the launch mount as well. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, there's a few that, maybe that's a power cable, but I do see a hard line right there coming from out of the launch mount. But I don't know. There's a lot of things about this that make me a little bit nervous. I'm kind of wondering, number one, why now? Obviously, with that explosion, this could be related to that. But I also don't understand how this is even working, because you would have to like directly connect to the Raptor engines in order to use this, in order to replace what the Raptors are doing themselves, as far as having the Raptor chill vent coming around the outside. Like, if you're moving that to the outside of the table, which is what they're doing, there's one right there, two right there. I think there's 3 in a row here. There's at least 14. There's probably even more now. I'm guessing almost all the way up to 20. So yeah, it's very, very interesting update on here, and it seems like an emergency switch. Like, I would have expected this to be done months and months ago if it was not a pre-planned thing. So it'll be interesting to see if this has any effect on launch operations. And the reason I really feel that way is because, let's go look at a picture that Mauricio took about a little over or almost a year ago. And I will say this is one of my favorite pictures of all time as well, too. Go ahead and pull this up. I don't think this picture can be taken ever again, unfortunately.
Oh, this is a great one.
Yeah, so sorry, picking and choosing what I'm going to talk about here, because we're in the middle of releasing an episode this week, so we're talking about a lot of this stuff as well. So you guys can see that, like, when these clamps close, you have this like overhanging edge on the clamps. So it's pretty much sealed in all the way up, except for like right down here on the bottom. So like the most exposed area as far as gas is entering the table is actually right down here. Everything up top is sealed in. Once the hood comes down, the table's fully sealed in. But the problem is, so if you were collecting the Raptor Chill venting, which is something I thought they were doing in the first place, I honestly did not expect to ever see Raptor Chill venting, because I thought that one of these ports on the QD was to collect that. But clearly that's not the case. So if you were to decide all of a sudden hey, that's what we should have did, is collect it, number one, you're not really adding much weight onto the vehicle in order to do that. You're just rerouting the same pipe that's going below. You're just rerouting it to the QD. But that requires you to completely swap out the QD again for a third time, because they've already done it. They've already swapped them out once before when they upgraded to the Raptor 2s. So if you were going to connect a pipe onto this in order to drain your Raptor Chill venting out of the launch mount, so it would basically come underneath here all the way down, and then underneath the front side of the launch mount, like we were seeing in that previous picture. Once those clamps close, it would just snap the pipe off. There's no way to connect to this and also be able to close the clamps, which is required when you're launching. So either way, I feel like it's a delay. It seems temporary to me. There's only two options, in my opinion, for how this could work. It's either plugging directly into the engines. I mean, they left let's look at the pictures Mauricio took once it was taken off the launch mount. We're sitting here jibber-jabbering. You can see this once they took it off the launch mount. They left all of these panels off. So I don't know. I kind of have a feeling that the reason they did this was so they could access those drain lines. But if you have a hard connection to the vehicle, that could explain what took them so long to actually get it off the launch mount. Not only are you having to tape up all the QDs, you can see they're all taped up over here. That's hilarious.
Starbase cover up.
Yeah, it's just funny because we just Starship Gazer just happened to get a picture of these before when they weren't on, so that was kind of rare to see. But sorry, where was I going with that? Yeah, having this cover off would allow you to access those drains. I actually think they're on the other side, but either way, it doesn't make sense for connecting those to the Raptor QD by coming from underneath the launch mount. So, like I said, I have a feeling it's temporary, but I will offer one more solution, which could be a possibility. And Max Q was actually thinking along these same lines as well. Let me swap back over. Sorry, guys. So there is a possibility, and this is something I've been thinking for a long time, that there's actually holes in this. And it could be capped off on the inside. So those things that are coming from underneath the table could be plugging into this. It could be going through here and into the launch mount. That's a possibility.
What is that?
No idea. So these were not here when the launch mount got constructed initially. So they brought it here, and there was actually just a taped up small hole here. And then a month or two after they into construction, after they brought it to the launch site, they started welding these plates on the end. And it's really weird because either something attaches onto this, it could be a nozzle. Initially we thought it could be a nozzle for water deluge to spray straight out. But there's also these little brackets that look like something could slide in up here. You can almost imagine what would fit in there. But this is the only way to enter the table from underneath it. So this could be one option for those vents, but I don't know. I can't think of any other place where they could be coming from. It's super interesting though, and I was really hoping they were going to test the full thing so we could see what it looks like when all 20 of them are doing it at the same time. But we're not lucky enough to get that yet.
What happened the last time they tested the all 20 at the same time?
not very good things.
Go ahead, Indian Star.
I had two questions. When you're saying we want to see it, what are you referring to when you say it?
Oh, sorry. I mean the full test of the pre-chill, Raptor pre-chill. So with the vents coming out of the side of the launch mount instead of from underneath, it will look a lot different. The vents, because there's such small outlets, you can actually see like a stream coming out of them at times. These are different sized. So you can actually see like a liquid stream coming out of them, which is similar to what you would see if you're looking underneath the Raptor as the Raptor chill was happening. So it'll create like a very fine stream until it finally spreads out. So it actually looks like a pinwheel. It would look like a pinwheel coming out of the entire launch mount. Like if you could make the whole thing swirl in a circle like a tornado, then it would look really cool. But yeah, then you can just see every few feet they're all over the place.
Mm-hmm. And they've added those new hanging off pipes, correct? The things you're just pointing out.
Oh, these ones, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And the second question is from Cranky Old Man. He says, do you know why, or do you have an idea why they didn't use the deluge system when they did the static fires most recently?
It's not deluge, I guess. That's the simplest answer I would say. I don't think that's what it is. So when you look at the, sorry, I was super zoomed in trying to see if I could find if that's the end of the pipe or not right there. But when you look at this, the engine bells are, let's get a better one.
We need to get Mauricio a better flash.
Engine bells, yeah. So the engine bells, I guess it looks like they're hanging below from this angle, but they're definitely not. So they're probably just a few inches or maybe a few feet above this. And this is, these, you can even see it from here. These nozzles are pointing up. So I think these are for mostly after the booster lifts off the launch mount, not any time before, unless there's like a fire, like an engine fire, not a actual explosion like what happened. Like nothing was going to stop that explosion other than, I don't know, a whole bunch of CO2 or nitrogen, I guess. I don't think there was really a whole lot of ways to prevent that one. But yeah, this is a, sorry, did I answer the question? Because I feel like I'm,
well, the other thing I'm thinking is these pipes and this suppression system might also be to keep methane out from collecting under the skirt. I've heard that repeated a few times as well as a theory.
Yeah, they have other things down here for that too. We're not gonna be able to see it from this image, so I won't mention that today. But yeah, it's a very complicated situation. But we may as well. Let's move on from it for a little bit because I feel like I've been talking about it for a while. We might come back to it because we still got to talk about the chopsticks. We're not done with stage 0, but let's look around for a little bit because I'm trying to like wrap my mind around some of it. And the longer I look at it, the more I'm going to go into a rabbit hole. So,
and hey, I think what you're saying there is rocket science is kind of hard. It's complicated.
Yeah, for sure. And we've been talking about this stuff for weeks and weeks. Like this is one of the first, as far as the episode I'm currently working on, one of the first times we've had like a whole team working on most of the show, like all of the little details. I don't think they're even aware of that, but like so much time going into trying figuring out all these things. It's really, I wish we could like total all the hours that we put into trying to be able to explain these things to you guys. So early stages on that topic we were just talking about, but yeah, we'll have more info for you guys here soon. But looking at the backside of the tank farm, I was just trying to check back here to see if we had any additional protection added in for the blast shielding, but it does not appear so. I noticed actually from the front that they've been adding even more scaffolding in here, like on the inside. Maybe we'll be able to see it when we get to the front. I usually don't go through all of the ground images, but I think that this week there's just like so much to see, especially with the time that Mauricio showed up as they're preparing to lift all this off. And you guys can see here how clean this looks. They got all the pipes on the inside shaved off for the interior drainage.
Yes, sir. New is pretty.
I'm very surprised this is still outside.
What is that?
Well, this is, I think this is possibly an emergency drain for the cryo stations. So, if they're unable to, because there's no pumps to send the cryo fluid back to the tank farm. Actually, let's look at this. Let's look at this from the aerial view. If I can get it to come up.
And while you do that, we just want to thank Overload Raven for the $10 donation that they were kind enough to give us.
There we go. All right. So let me find a better angle of this. I like that one. So I actually get asked this question a lot, so I'll try and explain it minimally right now. So the cryo stations right here, which is where they do the booster testing, or sorry, 7.1 testing, for example. 7.1 is not really that tall. So while some of the tank will come above the berm, like the bottom of the tank will not. And the reason that matters is because if you're trying to like drain that tank back to the tank farm. Oh, wow. I just noticed this little wall where they got here. How did I not see that before?
It's a tiny berm.
Tiny berm. So the you can't. There's no pumps here to pump the fluid back. I imagine they maybe could add some at some point. I don't know if they're getting set up to do that here, but these are just like basket strainers. So if you're draining it, it's going to go down underneath the culvert and come back up here, and then it goes all the way across the back wall, and then down through the tank farm, or sorry, through the bunker, and then back to the tanks. And so, because you can't just use gravity to drain everything back to those tanks, because the liquid level in these tanks is going to be way higher than what it is over here. So with that being said, I'm pretty positive most of the times that they do 7.1 testing, they have to let it naturally boil off. So if that's the case, then that would be what this is for. And other than that, I can't really think of any other reason to have this. It could also be similar to how your ground vents are over here, but it's way bigger than all the other ground vents. So I'm pretty sure it's for detanking and possibly just natural venting away from this location. Because usually when we see those 7.1 tests, everything is really far over here. Like you don't see the venting coming from the actual tank itself. So
yeah, a little bit coming out from the top, but you're right.
Yeah. And speaking of protection, they completed the other part of this berm right here. And they have, it looks like they're building, I don't know, just a wall, I guess. I can't tell if it's going to be an actual berm, but possibly just a secondary wall or something on top of this.
A little retaining wall there.
Something, yeah. It's, well,
Yeah,
maybe they're making a tall one. Oh, yeah. Like the same one in the front.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Nice. Okay, well, that makes sense because, you know, when Elon shows up to the launch site, he's able to at least pass by the front without seeing these tanks. But then as soon as he gets to the backside, he can still see them. So you got to add an extra wall so that he doesn't have to look at it when he shows up. It makes a lot of sense. And I don't know if it's like really necessary as far as like just actual requirements, because they have the 6 foot tall wall right here. So I don't know if it's possibly additional blast protection. You have to travel through all this stuff before you can reach there. So Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch that.
So, looking at this image, my first question is, when's Booster 8 going to get its chance on the thrust box stand? You think it'll be this week, or you think they might wait till after Booster 7's done?
Well, I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, and I don't know if Jax maybe knows more on this one. I think they've been adding the... Wait, yeah, those are Raptor mounts.
Well, this is kind of the confusing thing. Those were there during the flyover, but it also looks like they were on a trailer during the ground photos. So it's like they put them there and took them off right away.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe they have 2 sets.
Yeah, maybe. I just don't know why they'd have 2 sets at the pad, but it's definitely possible.
Wow. Yeah, I really thought they were going to test it on here, but with Booster 7 having its engines installed, like who knows how quickly that's going to get done. If they're in the middle of a surge, it could possibly be done before the weekend's over. But I honestly was expecting Booster 8 to get tested before 7, like whether on the launch mount or here, just a cryo test, and then send it back to the build site to start installing engines.
I was right there with you. I was even looking forward to some E-Dome testing at some point soon.
Yeah, I think they're ahead of schedule for where they expect it to be at. So they made some more changes to the tank farm this week. Let's go back down here. Before I get away from here, I just wanted to mention one thing because I've seen people ask. At the beginning of cryo tests, when you see all the venting coming from the back of the tank farm, like specifically on the Lab Padre views, this little bullnose right here is where that's coming from. So in order to do a test on the launch mount, you have to also fill up all of these because they're connected. So you have to fill it all the way up down here. And then I think they're since they're priming it up, you'll see all that venting coming out of here until these are fully primed up, and then they'll shut them in. And then these are filled. And once these are filled, then they start sending fluid over to the launch mount.
So just to share, because I didn't know this at first, as they're pouring cryogenic fluid through those pipes, it's evaporating because those pipes are a good bit warmer than the cryogenic fluid, so it's evaporating. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, they're chilling those pipes down, letting all that evaporation go through, and that's what you mean by priming, right?
Yeah, well, right now, these are empty. So once you start pumping fluid through there, you have to open it up somewhere to allow all the gas to escape so that you can actually flow fluid through it, or else you're just going to be compressing gas inside of the pipes.
Right.
So that's what you see starting at the beginning of the test is like a whole bunch of venting coming out from right here as they're priming those lines up. And then it shortly after that starts on the launch mount as they do the exact same thing. There's actually 2 more of them, but I've never seen them in action, so kind of confused on what their purpose is. But if we go to the left side of the tank farm, you guys can see that they, as we mentioned last week, finished those additions onto the lock side to add the additional pumps, and they've already got all of that insulated as far as the new piping. Let's move a little bit.
Looking good. It was
quick.
The 2 on the other side originally, right?
Yeah, these ones haven't been insulated yet, but these ones I don't think ever were to begin with. Maybe they were.
Get it.
Yeah, so basically, this doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to see another pump added in here soon, but it just gives them the ability to do that. But clearly, they're at least hooking this one up. And we have some cool ground shots related to that as well. So let me just go ahead and search for those here.
So while you're pulling that up, why do you think they're adding all these pumps and heat exchangers?
Well, we haven't seen the heat exchangers yet. I'm still hoping that happens, but during I feel like during the actual flight operations, you want to load your fluid as quickly as possible, right? So it's not sitting there warming up in the tanks. So I guess just pumping it as quick as possible and getting that prop loading time down. I don't know. That's the only real reason I can think of to do that.
You saying that really makes me want to start running the calculations for, what the flow rate of these pumps is and how long it would take to fill up with 2 versus like 6 of them.
Yeah. Here we go. I got it. And thank you guys for bearing with me. This is difficult in the background a lot of times. We're going through, how many pictures I have right now? 500 pictures cycling through right now. So I know it gets a little difficult to keep up with on your guys' side and always moving back and forth quickly. So hopefully you guys don't mind. And you know what? Actually, on that note, if you guys haven't hit the like button yet, please go ahead and do that for us. We're into our last hour of today's show. So I always want to just give you guys a reminder on that. And please appreciate your guys' support. And thank you for being here. So that being said, back to what we were talking about. They have some. This is the top of the pump in here. So, oh no, that's the actual pump itself. So you have the this is a methane pump, which okay, I thought we had
There are photos of the motor somewhere.
Yeah, I thought it was down here. There we go. So looking down here, you guys can see the actual pump itself being covered up. And then this is the, I guess you call it the sump or the casing. So this goes down into the hole first. It's usually insulated. And then the pump goes inside of it. And they've actually taken this off and completely removed all the insulation, which is interesting. I'm kind of wondering if there's an issue with the actual casings themselves, because it's one thing to replace a pump, but as soon as you pull out the casing, that's like a whole different story. So I feel like there's something going on there, and obviously there's no way for us to really know what's happening, but this is like I want to say we're approaching 10 pumps that have been swapped out at this point, if not higher. And this is over the last year, of course, but that's still pretty significant if you ask me. So, oh wait, hold on. We wanted to talk about the liquid oxygen side really quick. But yeah, so they have these 2 pumps obviously in the ground forever, and they'll probably be hooking this one up, but we haven't seen anything for them to start using the other one. Not sure if we can see it better from the side. Nah, no changes. So
slightly related to this, I'm always impressed at also all the electrical work going on that like powers all those pumps, and they have a whole little bunker just for that. A lot of electrical generation required to run this place. A lot of generators.
For sure. I actually have a question for Jax here. Why is this open on the bottom? Is there an actual cover that exists for this that we've seen?
Yeah, there is. It's just they actually, if you scroll up a little bit, they took off that entire bottom part. You can see where they didn't tape over the gap for the large chine, the COPV one. Yeah, so up top, if they took off that entire bottom section. So everything below the gap
is different. Is this new?
I think it might be the old stuff, but they had it taken off after the explosion for some reason.
Okay, and so they're just like getting it back on here. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of cool to be able to like see everything that's down into here. But these are obviously holding all of the COPVs, and oh wow, they finally get some. I've been trying to look inside of one of these things for a while to see if there's actually some substantial support in there, but it's so crazy to me how this actually works, because it seems like it's just a sheet metal like trough for that pin to go in. It's like not an actual like backing plate or anything in there. Sorry, distractions. Anyways, so these COPVs go inside of the booster, and this is for engine startup most likely. And you can see the second set of chines here, which is significantly smaller. Or sorry, those would be strakes, I guess. But yeah, of course.
Just call them trakes.
Trakes
together.
Strakes, chines.
Man, these are really awesome shots. These are starting to look like Booster 4's engines.
So I have a question for you. Cindy's
Whoa.
asking about RB51. There's an orange cable, or a red pipe, sorry. They're asking what that red pipe might be for.
I saw that one coming.
I didn't see any pipe. What pipe?
Go up.
I know what he's talking about, and I'm going to plead the fifth.
We can't talk about that.
Yeah, you'll find out on tomorrow. I've been talking. I've been like working on that one for several, like a week and a half now. So I'm not going to discuss it here yet today.
Are the ones with the orange stickers on them? Are those from the discount aisle?
E31, E30.
And also, are they going to paint these again, you think?
Isn't that the location? E31, E30?
Whoa, wait. Could that mean, could they have pulled them off of a different engine?
No, what they normally do is every position on the booster, 1 through 33, is every engine mount has a number. Mm-hmm. And they, when we saw them moving to the wide bay, they were pre-assigned their positions.
Okay.
So you have engine number and then mount number, and then you just assign the engine to the mount.
That makes sense. And interesting. Yeah, I've never really seen those on there before. Am I crazy, or do these all look like something looks different about them from the last time I saw them? I see like these marks all the way through.
I think that might just be where stuff was rubbing against it, maybe.
Another one right here.
They're ugly now.
Yeah, you got on this one. It's like they got stretch marks or something.
Or that they're visible because of the soot.
Yeah. I think Indian Star might be right that was always there. Just it's now a little bit more visible.
I just took a bath, so that's why you can see it. Yeah, that's really weird. It's like even these ones right here, green versus gray, like they're.
But the green and gray we've seen bells of for a while now.
Yeah.
So the engine bells are made of Inconel, which is a mixture of steel, nickel, some other, and they come out originally green, but with heat treatment they can go gray and black and then even rusty. Of course, a little static fire will get rid of all that little surface level rust in a hurry.
Yeah, I wish I could have been here this day.
I wish I could be there every day.
I feel like I am out there every day, honestly, like in a way. And I'm just scrolling through these pictures really quick, guys, because I want to make sure I'm not missing any of the good ones from as this booster was being lifted off. Because these are like we're not going to really see this too much more as far as like actually being able to get close to it while it's being lifted, because usually it's going to be happening with the chopsticks. So when we do get that close to it, it's really nice.
And even then, we're seeing a booster with minimal shielding and only 20 engines being lifted. That's probably not going to happen again.
Nah, it shouldn't have happened, honestly. I think that if not for that explosion, that we never would have seen a lot of this stuff. There are a lot of new things that are in here with the Raptor engines, other than like what was discussed in EDA's little tour. But I say little tour, but it was amazing. So like with the Raptor QDs, like for example, they keep them taped up. So there's a possibility that without that event, we never would have saw them untaped. And also a possibility of the stuff that's behind these shields that we wouldn't have been able to see them had they not had to remove them for because of this event. So Booster 8, I don't think we'll ever see naked.
It's very interesting how you phrase that sentence.
Well, Elon will have to send the nudes.
Well, we know you like cute photos of boosters, so.
You know I do.
So I actually, okay, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for how many of these they were going to have, the actual valves for the LOX pumps. So this will tell you like how many they're planning on adding, and so far it just looks like one. But yeah, this is the valve that actually opens and closes the outlets for the LOX pumps. And you guys see the pipes all frosted up as Mauricio. Man, I've been looking for a frosted picture for a while.
I like that PPE requirements sign now. I didn't see that before.
They've kind of got them all over the place now. And definitely a good thing to see. I mean, it's part of it, that kind of stuff was actually in the PEA about training their employees and like general signage and stuff. So as soon as that report came out, I really started seeing a lot of that stuff fly onto or start appearing. I'm gonna go through these. Oh, you know what?
No.
Sorry, I just got distracted by something because I remember that we were supposed to talk about suborbital pad today too.
Oh yeah.
I feel a message, a DM coming from Mauricio. Don't forget to talk about that. So I will do that. But really quick, Jax also sent me this picture, which we were talking about the clamps that were on the can crusher. So this is the, not clamps, the Raptor mounts. Damn, this is an amazing photo. So yeah, you could see all of them on this trailer as they're being taken away, or before they're being taken away. So I guess maybe they're not going to be doing that can crusher action anymore. Maybe
into the graveyard.
When Booster 7 rolled out, and it was kind of weird, it had those directly attached to the puck, and then that all got lifted onto the can crusher. But then this time, it was like they were going to put them on the can crusher first, so maybe they're just going to bolt them onto B8 first. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's probably easier that way, because when they're hanging down from above, like they'll probably they won't be crooked like this, right? Like they'll hang straight.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, so it's probably easier to install that, because if not, then you have to have 13 people underneath it to get all of these perfectly straight while you're trying to line it up. So that would make sense that these are now on B8 instead of down here. We will probably find out, if I had to guess, like Monday or Tuesday, though.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be soon, that's for sure. So, suborbital side. Okay, that's not what I wanted. So we got lots of action on the suborbital side. And, this is one thing I was about to look at, Jax, was see if there's like more of those on the...
Oh, yeah.
There's not, though. They still got the shielding for the launch mount out here, which is really odd. But yeah, this is...
in the pile of B7.
Yeah, this is the B7 graveyard. Let's get a, overhead shot of it. I can see some clouds coming in. It looks like it's hazy this day. I know there's a better one. Let's go. Right, Joe?
All the little bits and pieces that got blown off.
Yeah, you can see a healthy shield right there, or it looks like it. But all the broken ones are down here. I'm surprised they haven't just thrown them in here and recycled them. Maybe they're going to auction them off or something. I'll take one. But I just wanted to check and see if there's anything else new here. And more importantly, going over to suborbital C, or B, looks like even more preparation for what I think is the third suborbital site. So you guys can see down here that they've begun digging out a little trench in here that runs basically straight to the suborbital pad. So not really sure what's down here. The actual cryo tubes that run to the suborbital pad go from here straight to literally straight to the QD. If we look at it from a different angle, you might even be able to see it a little better. I don't see an angle from that side. No, I don't have it. So, but you can see the way the starship's pointing. It's basically straight on. Those pipes go straight through here. So whatever this is not connected to that. But I am kind of curious if this maybe had something to do with why they didn't do the static fire this week, or the 6 engine like we were expecting. That maybe they're actually having to repair something that's down there that we didn't even know was there, I guess. I'm actually probably going to go through some older pictures to see if I can figure that out. But we do have some additional work in this area where you can see they put some sort of barriers down here. And I don't know if this is like, it'd be interesting to see this from the ground level to see if they're creating a basin, I guess, for like a shallow basin for water to go in. Because there was a ton of water.
Where is this? Is this right off of Pad B?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were going to have a continuation of that hill to go to Pad C, right?
Yeah. But I'm just trying to explain the barriers because they don't really make sense. Maybe they do. So I guess in the PEA, they have to put up certain types of protections in order to, like when they're doing construction, stopping construction material from entering the wetlands. So this could be a barrier to be here as they're raising this land up. They want to keep it contained so that it doesn't overflow into here because that's technically contamination. So if that's the case, as they're adding more material as they go, I would expect this wall to continue to move as they build up this area. And I'm assuming something similar will be happening over here as well too. But yeah, you can see that it appears to me that they've already started building this part up. It definitely looks raised.
Also, to the far left of that and wrapping all the way around, they're going to build a road potentially just around the whole site there.
Yeah, you know what? Let me go to the, I got some better shots from long distance.
Yeah, normally I'm saying enhance, zoom in. It's rare I'm saying zoom out so we can see the whole thing.
Swap over to the long distance shots and see if I can find the perfect angle. There we go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so this looks to me like this is being just barely raised up. When you look at it from this angle, I'm assuming that they have trucks bringing dirt directly through here. You can see the path. I don't think they're taking dirt out anymore. That's what they did for several weeks, is they were like clearing all this up. But now it looks like they're adding material back in. And then you have obviously this huge pile over here of dirt, or gravel, sorry, which will probably be the next base onto this, I'm assuming. But yeah, as far as the crane storage, that was supposed to be right along here. And then I think the road goes around that. So it should... Oh, wait, we have the new overlay for this, right?
Oh, yeah. Somebody shared that with Mauricio just the other day during the show and tell.
It was Hauer, I think.
Yeah, somebody sent that to me as well, too.
You keep going, and we'll find it.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I saw something that I thought was important. I tend to get a lot of messages during these shows, so I'm like, always think it's something important, and then yeah. So yeah, as you guys can see, it hasn't really changed much other than them just adding this stuff in here, but definitely a place to keep an eye on, because as we mentioned, this is where suborbital C is supposed to be. And so I personally feel like they're preparing for that. I've seen other images of like new pipes showing up places that I only think could go here. But yeah, and now that I see this too, you can see these piles right here that they've probably just brought in as they're building this up. Oh, you can definitely tell right here that this is all higher up. See, responsible civil engineering right there.
I concur. I think I'll allow them to pass. So, zooming out from the conversation here, why are they building Pad C? You know, Pad B is in use right now. Pad A is not in use. Why do they need a Pad C?
Well, so the main reason that you want a Pad C is because Pad A and Pad B are only able to be used for starships. So if you want something for a booster, then you're going to need you only have that staging pad, which it kind of seems like the the Can Crusher may stay there. So if that's the case, then you still may want another place to like be testing B8 right now. And you also want it to be super far away from where you're doing the static fires at. So to me, like, this makes a ton of sense to have just a cryo station over here that you can actually use while you're doing static fire tests, similar to how you can still test ship 24 while you're doing static tests on the booster, static fire tests on the booster. But yeah, this is one of the clearest images I've ever actually seen just of this area. These are down here are the water pumps for the water deluge, and I don't think
those are the old Three Amigos.
Yeah, and I don't think these are only for deluge. I do believe that they're using them in some sort of heat exchanger, which I don't see in this area, but actually I want to get some more ground images of this now that I've actually seen from this angle. But yeah, this is this Orbital doesn't really have a whole lot in common with Orbital.
I know, it's a complete mess when you compare it. Just, it's all over the place.
Did you know I've never seen this kettle boiler?
Maybe you've never seen it from that angle.
No, I've never seen it, period. I didn't even know they had one in there. This looks very similar to the one that's in at Massey's, because I've always thought that one looked a little weird. Like, it doesn't look the same as the other ones. It looks more like this. I forgot another image of it. Nope, it's okay. I'm not going to dwell on it for too long. I want to also answer a few more questions really quick too. Cover some more ground images and
take
sorry,
it away,
I'm looking at the. Yeah, go ahead. I was looking for something in the background. So yeah, go ahead.
So Cody G has a question. Do they have storage tanks for diesel at the launch pad? Don't know why they would have diesel.
Run generators.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, I've never noticed them.
I think they just bring it in possibly in cans for the generators. I'm sure they have a refill station somewhere on base. It may be at suborbital. It may be back at the build site.
Yeah, typically there's a truck that drives around. There's usually a truck driving around that will like have to go around and fill up all the equipment. They may even have like two of them. And that's like their entire job is to just go around filling up equipment. So you may not need actual storage containers on site if you have people driving around filling up tanks like they do pretty much on most job sites.
Fair enough. Sharpie asks, will the header tank and a booster have a slosh baffle or have slosh baffles?
That is a Jax question.
I thought it might be. Jaxie?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Of course. Sharpie's asking, will a header tank and a booster have slosh baffles?
Well, I don't know if I can refer to this, but I think at this point the photo inside of Booster 7 was pretty widespread, and I haven't seen anything in there that would look like slosh baffles. But that's not to say the design couldn't have been changed since then, like with newer iterations.
Yeah, so we'd have to hop up in one of those header tanks. I wouldn't mind doing that just to look what's in there. We've never seen one cut in half, right? So
nope, not yet.
Yeah, that's tough.
I was thinking we need a RUD, is what you're saying.
Oh nah, I didn't say that.
Let's blow up Booster 7.
Scrap boy over here. Jaxie loves to scrap everything.
I don't condone. And look, just on time right there. This is the guy who rolls around filling up all the diesel equipment. Hey. Isn't that crazy how that works? I feel like a Jedi sometimes. Anyways, moving on, we got this building over here, which is the Starlink factory. Or not Starlink factory, but the storage building.
Origin integration.
Yeah, so I think this building is kind of funny, in my opinion, just that every time the trucks drive in, I think they drive in. Oh, no, they can't come in from the back. So they have to move the pez loader thing out first, and then they drive in to offload after, which is interesting. It's weird that they can't do it from two sides, like offload from behind and then onload from the other side. But yeah, this building is finally painted, which is nice because it was looking like a dairy cow for several, for about a week and a half. What? This is not the image I was looking at. There we go.
Yeah, that was driving a few people nuts.
It looks good now. I mean, you could still see that it may need another coat up top, but yeah, they got all of the electrical conduit almost ran to it now. So they'll probably be able to stop running off those generators soon. But other than that, there's not a whole lot happening back here. There's Grover's back here. This is like the real crane parking lot, which has been mostly used for like, well, I guess it has been using for crane parts. They used to store the SPMTs back here, but I haven't seen them back here in quite some time. I think they're too busy. The SPMTs are too busy these days to be hanging out over here with Grover. Yeah, not much else happening over here, actually. But we always want to touch on that, not miss what's ever happening over here. So I think we have some more ground images that we want to cover. And while I'm going through those really quick, Andy, did we have any more questions that we wanted to?
We have lots of questions. There's a question about, do you have any idea, this is from Cody G again, do you have any idea why they would remove the CH4 pump sleeve or the casing?
Not really. I think they're currently right now about to set up to lift one of those pumps into place on Rover Cam. So after this episode is over, if you guys want to hop onto any of the Lab Padre streams, you'll probably be able to see them actually lifting the new pump into place here in the next 20 minutes. They're going to wait for the show to end, of course. But yeah, I'm not really sure. It's a mystery that we've had for a long time, trying to figure out why that keeps happening. But yeah, there's really no way to tell right now. I almost completely didn't even address the chopsticks today.
Yeah, I think Rocket Prophet would have had your head.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm on it. So while they've been doing all this, oh wait, no, we have more questions. Go ahead.
We did.
I'm like one and done.
What is the chance? This is from Patrick J. What is the chance that the railing on top of the OLM will survive a launch?
Unscathed? Probably zero. But it might just take some paint to get it back together. A proper launch, it's kind of designed to survive that. A little bit of sandblasting will help clean that right off.
Make you want to throw up. Yeah, it's not. The railing is sorry, I was zooming in like that, not for the paint, actually, for the railing. So I don't know. That railing seems decently heavy duty enough, right?
Yeah, it doesn't catch a lot of wind anyway. It'll survive.
Yeah, probably won't look that great, but it'll be fine.
Paint is cheap.
Agreed. Unless you're having to paint your entire site at the same time. But we also should be seeing some more coverings come on top of this box. It looks like they're installing the brackets that allow it to adapt to the shield that goes over the top, like this one.
I am loving that shield.
Yeah.
My one question about that shield is, does that make you think that kind of seems that way? If they're shielding it this way, they don't need to add more awnings.
I feel some kind of way about that. I maybe you're probably, yes, that's probably they're probably not going to do shielding around the entire thing. I mean, the problem with that is, yes, it helps you with your control boxes, right? So like this shield also is large enough, it seems like, to protect the stuff that's behind it, right? But what about the stuff inside the launch mount?
I know, that's what I'm saying. And maybe, because it's sealed from the inside, so it's not getting that direct blast from the booster inside. But yeah, once the booster gets 10 feet off the pad, it's going to be raining fire down from the outside, curving in, and it's going to melt all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like, hey, put it on put the shielding all the way around the outside, which would make you say, why are they throwing it on top of the control box? It doesn't make sense to me right now.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I don't understand like how it attaches either, because you have all these, you see these empty bolt holes, right? Say that 10 times fast. So I don't understand how it actually attaches on here, because you don't see like any of those bolt attachments on this one. It almost looks like it's like just for visual appeal. As far as just the general design of it, other than the general weight of it is pretty massive, it looks like, but I don't understand like what these bolts have to do with the whole assembly. Sorry, I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, no, I think we're both going to have to wait to see what SpaceX actually does.
Yeah, and sorry, I can literally stare at that image for a very long time, so I'm going to move us to...
Hey, Indian Star, you got any more questions?
I believe
I'm sitting here searching for
a long time. Yeah, I have more questions. Are you ready for more questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Are you ready? Okay. Mike Smith asks, when we were looking at Florida, KSC, he was asking, isn't the farm close to the tower? And I think he's talking about the tanks when he says farm. When you were looking at the white tanks?
Yes. They are close to the tower, but I mean, so is this tank farm is really close to the tower too. Ideally, I mean, arguably the other one is a little bit more protected though. It's behind the tower, so. I will say again on that subject, it does make the most sense for it to be water, but in my opinion, it does not look like a water tank. So. I know that wasn't the only question.
Oh, just a point of note. Dave Reese says that there's a diesel tank by the electric bunker. There's a rear truck door on PPB. I don't know what PPB is, other than like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I think that's different.
The payload processing building, I think.
There we go. Thank you, Jaxie.
Wait, is he talking about the tank farm?
I would say Jaxie should answer the question.
He said on the back of this building? Can you read what he said one more time?
Yes. There's a rear truck door on the PPB.
No idea. I don't know.
I think it's.
Is he talking about two different things?
Yeah, I don't think that's related to what we're looking at right here.
Okay, I saw something about diesel storage. I heard he said diesel storage, and then he's talking about the rear access door.
Yeah, so two different things, I think. He says the PPB Starlink building, and that has to do with the rear truck door.
Yeah.
And then he said, before that, he said diesel tank by electric bunker, because I asked where we had diesel, and there was a question about, do they store diesel tanks?
Yeah, I just don't see them in this image, though.
I don't think they're.
I mean, this is a water tank. This is the electric bunker, though. So yeah, and yeah, there's the door in the back of the Starlink building. We're just not able to show it because we only have pictures from the front this week. So yeah, I understand what Dave was talking about, though. Any others you wanted to that we had remaining?
Yeah. What about? There's a question from Crane Man asking, could the two extra mounts, and we're talking about the orbital tank farm, could the two extra mounts be for maintenance on heat exchangers, temperature mounts next to the box tanks?
I'm guessing he means the additional mounts for the kettle boilers.
I believe that's correct. That's what it makes most sense, and that's what you were looking at when the question came in, I believe.
Yeah, these. I mean, I don't think they can be used for anything other than additional kettle. I don't know what else you would put up there. Maybe I'm not understanding that question. I'm not really sure, but yeah, these. They're. That's the only thing they really can be used for. They're perfectly spaced for that. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how to answer that one.
Fair enough. There's another question. This has to do with KSC again. Where do you think they would construct test pads at 39A?
That's a good question. I don't know if they need them. Well, I guess they would need something for static firing starships on, but at the same time, maybe not. I'm not sure. It depends. I don't know. Maybe I feel like we would see that start around the same time as the orbital launch mount if they were going to build one. But I don't know. I haven't seen any like signs of that yet.
Well, you sort of do have to build one because all of your ships are going to need to go through their own testing campaigns for firings. So
Yeah.
somewhere there has to be one.
I don't see any like preparations over there for them to do that yet.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, this whole pad is very interesting. Like, there's a lot of space that it seems like they may build in soon that they just haven't started in yet. But yeah, I don't know. It's I can't even think of where it would make sense to put that at. Like, where are you going to do static fires at with a starship? I don't know.
Yeah,
lots of development left to happen.
For sure.
Still waiting for the landing pad, and then after we have that, maybe that can be their testing facility too.
Yeah. All right. I wanted to talk about this really quick because I keep coming back to this image. All I was going to say is nothing has changed as far as these go. They've installed the two, what we believe are spring loaded or spring dampeners.
Wait, are you telling me they haven't put the arms on to lift that little rail?
Well, they have one. There's only one piston, so the piston lifts the rail up, and then these two are the like
catch cocks.
Yeah, essentially. So for landing, whereas
like
this is just for lifting it up.
Like the little thing when you're closing a door.
Essentially, yeah, same thing. Words are failing me today because it's been a super long week. I was up 14 hours straight yesterday working on this project for tomorrow. So yeah, vocabulary is failing me today. But let's look at some other images of the side of the Chopsticks, since we had that incident of the that popped hydraulic line on the Chopsticks. I don't know if we have any shots of it from the side. I feel like I'm missing pictures.
There's a lot of pictures. You didn't have that much space.
Mind you, there were 242 pictures in this set of ground photos, and I believe 140 something for aerials. There were a ton of pictures this week.
Nice.
Don't know if there's any that show that part. There we go. So this is last week where the issue with the hydraulics happened, and I wish I could tell you guys exactly what they did in here, but we're pretty sure it's fixed. I don't know if I've seen anybody up in there working right now. We'll probably be able to dig into this more next week. Honestly, have not been paying attention to that whole issue. Like, I barely even watched the static fires this week. I was really hoping that you just weren't going to do them.
The arms are fixed enough to move at least. Over the past hour or so, they've been moving left and right.
Really?
Yeah.
Why didn't you mention that?
We told everybody not to look. We needed them to stay here with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably see if we can dig into that a little bit more as far as what exactly happened, and also explain what this entire setup that they have going on here is, because as you guys can tell, things have obviously changed a little bit. So we'll probably discuss that more in a few weeks. I know we've been doing a lot of background research on this, but like I said, I've purposely been ignoring everything that happened with this system this week because it just feels like SpaceX is trying to distract us sometimes. Like, there's always things happening that stop us from doing the things that we're trying to do, like static fire events.
Doggone it.
This is the first time I haven't been excited for a static fire. I was like, please don't do it. Because I was going to definitely hop on commentary if that happened. And yeah, just causes delays. Anyways, continuing on, Is there any more areas that we should cover? Because I'm always really bad at making sure that we hit all of the ground images. So I want to make sure that we don't miss anything that we should be touching on.
So let's see. We got Macy's, we got Sanchez, we got the Ring Yard, High Bay. Did we do anything with High Bay?
No.
Yeah, they're just constructing Chip 25 in there. I mean, if there's an image of that, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah,
and before you move on, I want to thank a few people, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So $2 donation from Jim Cavett. Great job today, y'all. We also have a couple of new RGV early access members. One of them is Paw Angel. He's now, or she is now, an RGV flight supporter. And then we also want to welcome Not Your Business, who we want to welcome to the RGV early access team. And then Andrew gave a £5 donation as well. Thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, so they've been getting a lot of work done on Ship 25 this week. They put the jigs for the aft flaps on. Those were carried over a few days ago, and that might be it. Yeah, I'm not. I can't tell.
Yeah, it's really hard to see in there. I was trying to see if we had another angle of it.
And then they put in the downcomer like yesterday or the day before, and it's actually laying on the ground in the high bay. I don't know. There's one angle that shows it, but I don't remember which photo.
Did you happen to see the photo from Rohan, Jaxie?
Yeah.
Inside of the high bay?
Yeah, it's right on the right wall. It's really tucked in there.
Of course, I don't have that angle. Well, we must have it if you saw it. I don't know. Maybe I guess I just can't see it. I don't see the actual image for that one. Scrolling on the bottom, I don't see that angle. And is that the only thing in the high bay right now?
Yes. Yeah. And we do in
that
the
was
mid bay.
easy.
In the mid bay, though, we do have 7.1, which is doing its thing. They don't seem to be scrapping it. They actually sort of looks like they're repairing it.
I heard somebody saying they were going to stack 6.1 on top of 7.1 for additional fun.
It's one of many possibilities, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I guess it does look like they're doing repairs on it, which I didn't realize it was damaged in the first place. Oh, wait, never. I do remember that. Yeah, okay.
So the tank itself wasn't damaged, but the lip on top might have been.
GB, there's a photo.
By the way, I would like to say I love these crazy guys. I mean, just the wild stuff they do here just blows my mind.
Was that sound your mind being blown?
Yes.
Very nice. It sounded the way.
Corner right there?
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah, just sitting there hidden in the corner. Sorry, let me get myself back to that other view really quick.
But yeah.
Oh man, that's the wrong one. Sorry, guys. And thank you guys for bearing with us today. This has been actually the last two episodes have had a lot of technology issues. I don't even really know what the problem is. But I really appreciate you guys for bearing with us. We all have tons of stuff that is going on in the background at the same time, so it's always a massive amount of multitasking as we're doing these shows. So thank you guys for staying with us through all that stuff. It's really fun to grow every single week and keep trying to improve on everything. So thank you guys for all that patience.
And for everybody in the chat who participates, we appreciate that as well. And for all the questions and for everything that you guys do. Showing up every week, for those of you who are regulars, we really, really appreciate you.
Yeah, most definitely. And Mauricio, did you have anything you wanted to add as well too?
Oh, just that I already dropped the wallpaper download just a few minutes ago, maybe like 10 minutes ago, and it's pinned. So if you haven't downloaded that, just the link is there for you. And also, I know we mentioned it before, but If you want to turn on the post notifications so you can get notified. I think I said that wrong. The bell icon, right?
Bell
When-
icon,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, and thank you for the support. Thanks for all the viewers for helping us out, and the support with the super chats. And if you want to support in a different way, you can share this video with somebody that hasn't viewed our content before. That means a lot to us. And I don't know, Indian. So you want to say something?
I was just going to say, yeah, share a video and educate somebody on Starship. There is a question for you, Mauricio, specifically. You want to
Okay.
answer. So George is asking, when do you think they will stop with the numbers of ships and move on to the names? Like ship 30 sounds not so cool.
I mean, I think that's a question more towards like Jax. Not sure. I think they keep going back and forth, right, Jax?
Well, I think every ship, no matter what, it's always going to have its number, its serial number. So ship 124. They'll always have that. And if they have a name, I feel like it'll be more of a secondary kind of thing. And I expect that to show up with like really, really important missions. Like the first crewed flight or something like that. But yeah, and with names and all that, I know it's an ongoing argument in the community that is, it's insane how heated it gets. But is it S or SN? I say it's both. I mean,
oh no, don't start that, Jackson.
hey,
Yeah.
You know, I think that's one of the fun topics that's easy to discuss and fun to think about. My personal favorite are the drone ships.
I say SN all the way up to SN4, then it swaps, I think. Or wait, sorry, SN and not SN11, or sorry, 15 is when it swaps, I think.
Yeah, I think that's when it became really widespread to say ship.
Yeah.
Oh, and now he's putting a poll in the chat.
SN all the way. But you still say ship if you say SN, just saying.
In a way. You guys, I've just noticed how this image is very much different than it's looked like over the past few weeks. It's like you can tell that the surge is happening. Like there's so much, not only employees everywhere, but there's far more equipment out than there normally is, in my opinion. And
sectioned off, like not maybe not nicely, but definitely sectioned off. And GB, you get 5 minutes because we started a little late. Astro Joe wants to make sure that you get your extra 5 minutes.
Oh, well, thank you, Astro Joe. I appreciate that. I think we went way over last time too. But yeah, we did start a little late, so thank you guys for bearing with us at the beginning. Like I said, just technical issues, and hopefully we won't have that problem next week. Gonna have to do some major computer cleaning after tomorrow, hopefully. But yeah, with that, I actually didn't really have anything else planned, so for Astro Joe's extra gifted time there. But yeah, if you guys want to hop on to the RGV Discord server, we will be there for a while as well, in hanging out in the Patron Lounge. We tend to hang out in there for a while after the shows are over, so you guys feel free to stop in there as well. It's nice to come in there during the week if you guys want to see like some of the pre-show planning that we do, as far as just the show and tells and actually going through the images when they're fresh, and then you get to view them as they're raw and in the raw form as well too. So yeah, always recommend hopping in there. And yeah, if you guys haven't jumped on RGV server already, I would definitely make sure you do so. There's tons of people in there all the time, chatting it up all day long and discussing some of the same things that we talk about here on the show. So yeah,
believe it or not, you can jump in there and come talk to me. By the way, I also posted a picture of Blue Origin's parking lot.
Oh,
you can definitely see the surge happening there too, or lack thereof.
Looks pretty surgy,
right?
Must be a weekend, huh? No.
No, that was on a Monday.
Yeah, who needs Mondays?
I know. It wasn't even a holiday Monday. Who's that guy over there?
Well, Mr. Felix right there, huh?
Uh-huh.
Good times. Yeah, definitely be nice to get a trip down there, especially with all the new stuff they got going up there. So, yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for joining us today. I feel like I never introduced myself, but my name is Zach, and I just want to again say thank you guys for being here. Thank you to Jax for joining us. It's really awesome having you on here, and I will let everybody else do their little sign-offs, but thank you guys for being with us this week.
Mauricio, you want to go ahead and say goodbye?
He's like, I'm already gone.
No, I'm still here. I couldn't find the mute button. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
I'll say the same thing. Thank you, guys. We hope to see you next week. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. And GPJ, it's all you.
Oh, wait, let's let Jack say goodbye too.
Well, yeah, thank you everybody for letting me on here. It's definitely different compared to what I'm used to, but I think this was pretty fun. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching.
It's pretty fun.
Hey.
not everybody's front of the camera like us, Indian Star. You know, some people like to hide back. But no, thank you a lot, Jax, for being on the stream. Really appreciate your rapid fire knowledge of all things and all rings. And with that, looks like we got a main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed. Love you. Bye.